crazy. I had to unplug it. I mean, the Wi-Fi, whatever it is. I get stuff confused and start all over again. So I'm back. So anyway, thank you again for helping me reach the over 1,000. I'm so happy about that. Thank you so much. It's been a long time coming. And so I looked up the other day and it's like 1,045. I'm like, wow, once it jumped to 1,000, it just more people just started subscribing. But it took a while to get there to that 1,000, and that's totally okay because I wasn't always the most consistent. But I thank you all for hanging in there with me. So nobody is here right now, but I do want to go ahead and say that the name of this video is focusing on yourself is key for growth. And I want to just say that the reason I chose this because sometimes people send me a message and say, okay, well, how to heal from narcissism or how to heal from toxic relationships. And I get that because when I first left my narcissistic immediate family, I found a ton of videos on narcissism and I was like just eating it up morning, day and night. I'm like, oh my God, I'm not crazy. There's nothing wrong with me. Other people have experienced this. People are seeing what's going on here. And so I was watching those videos all the time, and then after a certain amount of time, it got to the point that I was like, I'm trying to see, I don't see how to do comments, even if there was a comment. I hope they pop up on the screen. I don't know. It's my first time, excuse me. So it's like I was trying to figure out how do you heal and move on. And I just found a lot of people talking about narcissism, but like after maybe 6 months of watching that, I was like, okay, but nobody's talking about how to heal from this. And so I just kept looking and looking and I still wasn't finding anything. And then I just started doing my own thinking about things and looking at my own life about how I started to heal after. And it's a journey. And so I was like, okay, well, if I don't see what it is that I'm looking for out there, I'm going to start making the content myself. And eventually, once I started making it, I did start seeing some other people who were addressing that issue. Now, before I totally get into the healing piece, I do want to acknowledge, because I heard somebody make a good point, that a lot of times we in this community don't talk about the feelings that come with leaving a toxic or narcissistic relationship. And those feelings are really, really real. Meaning that you've been in this relationship. Let's say if this is a parent, you know, we were taught in this society that a parent is supposed to love their child, nurture their child, defend their child, even if it means the parent has to risk their own lives for the child. And we want that from our parents, and we have a hard time understanding that that's not the case with every parent. And of course, that's genuine, that's real. Who wants to acknowledge that their parent does not love them, that their parent wants to see them fail, that their parent is their biggest enemy? Nobody wants that. Or if you're married, or if you're in a long-term relationship, or even a friendship, who wants to say that they've chosen somebody who they were giving their all, who they would do anything for, and probably did do anything for, is really their biggest enemy? And that hurts because these people, the reason you have stayed around them, now if it's a parent up until a certain age, you really didn't have a choice, but you stayed around these people because you apparently were getting some type of benefit from that person, you know. And that's the thing about people that's narcissist or have these toxic traits. A lot of them are very charismatic, and we're drawn to them. And that does not mean that something's wrong with you. Who wouldn't sometimes, depending on your personality, who wouldn't want to be around that person that's the life of the party, dancing in the street, y'all walking to a club or wherever you going, and they dancing and having a good time, and they up for karaoke, they up just to be confident. And you may be like, wow, especially if you're more introverted, you may look at these people like, wow, I would like to be like this person, or have some of their qualities of being confident and so outgoing. So it was something about them that attracted you to them in the first place. So that's nothing to beat yourself up about. You were human. And then even when you want to talk about the love bombing, and I even hear a lot of people talk about this with romantic relationships, and it's also true though with friendships. You can get people that love bomb you in a new friendship. The person will probably be giving you gifts. If you don't have a car, they're taking you around places. You know, they're giving you maybe some confidence that you probably lacked. You know, they're probably standing up for you if you don't speak up for yourself. Somebody in line at the grocery store cut you off, and your outgoing narcissistic friend who you haven't determined at the time is a narc, it's like, you know, hey, don't you see my friend standing here? Well, normally you might have just been there with your little groceries, you know, holding on to your little tissue pack, you know, not standing up for yourself. So these people had traits that drew you to them, and they were good to you at a time, and that's what made it hard to leave these people. And what I'm saying is that, and people may say, well, okay, Samyra, well, how do you deal with the feelings? So first you have to address the feelings that you feel, because you've now moved on from this toxic relationship. And I look at it, I can't remember who said it. It's some psychologist, I believe, talked about like the stages, 5 stages of grief, you know? And I think it's the same with narcissism. So first of all, there comes, I think, you have to grieve, and I'm not giving these in any order. You have to grieve the relationship. Why? Even if it's a friendship or a parent, because it's hard and you have a heart. You have to grieve that relationship. How do you grieve it? There's no magic, and that's the thing. There's no magic to this. The heart is going to do whatever the heart is going to do on its own time frame. I cannot say 1 month, 6 months, 1 year. And the way you do with it is you sit with it. How do you sit with it? You acknowledge it, that you feel grief, that you had a significant loss in your life, whoever that loss may have been. That's genuine, you know? And also, there may be times when you're feeling grief about it, and even you may feel some sadness because that relationship has been dissolved. If you were married, you had your hopes, your wishes there. You probably wanted to be better than your parents or break generational curses in your family, and that thing fell apart on you. So now you have to deal with the piece, like, how do I put my life back together? How do I change my whole worldview, where I was with this person, but now I'm no longer with them, or I was with going to family gatherings and now I no longer go with them. That is a big shock to deal with. So you're going to have some sadness will probably be there, and everybody probably has different emotions. Is dealing with that. How do you deal with the sadness? One thing that I suggest is also, because I think when we deal with sadness, there can be the temptation to say, well, I was wrong. Maybe I overreacted. Maybe things weren't as bad. Maybe now that even though I've escaped, maybe I need to go back. One thing that I would suggest is get in a notebook, or if you don't use a notebook, there's even on your phone. This is my broke one. I won't dare show y'all the screen. This Motorola is broke. It's horrible, y'all. But there's a note amp on your phone, writing down the horrible things this person. It just makes you be like, what? Writing down the horrible things. That way, if you want to go back, you start reminding yourself the reason why you left. Oh, calling you crazy in public or to your family, telling everybody you're crazy, recording you on video without your knowledge. Hey, how you doing, Evelyn? I'm so happy I can see this, because this was my first time going live. I didn't know if I would be able to see any comments, so thank you for popping in and let me know I can't see the comments. So yeah, I'm talking about focusing on yourself to heal from narcissism, Evelyn, and I don't know where you popped in at, but just talking about that it's okay to have feelings, and some people call them negative feelings, after you leave a toxic relationship. You know, that sadness is real. You've lost something, you know. A person, is natural for them to grieve, you know, like, especially even if it was a friend. You know, I've had to cut off a toxic friend before, and that person, there was qualities that I liked about that person. Really fun, energetic, making jokes and all kind of stuff like that. But when that person tried to come back into my life and be a friend again, I had to remind myself the reason, you know. And I may have been bored, alone, and like, oh man, it would be good to hang out with somebody. But I'm telling you, that loneliness, that boredom will get you in all type of trouble. Well, maybe I'm just talking to me, because this has got me in a lot of trouble. So that's why I say we have to learn to sit with those negative feelings. Like, okay, I'm bored. I acknowledge I'm bored. Now, what am I going to do? Am I going to go read a book? Am I going to go for a walk? Am I going to go to the gym? Or is this a day, like Monica used to say, one of those things a girl goes through, don't take it personal. She just really wanted to be all alone that day. And it's okay when you're dealing with cutting these people off, these relationships off, and you may just want to take a nap that day. That is totally fine. You may want to draw your close your blinds and, you know, have your blackout curtains on because you don't want to deal with nobody. That is totally fine. Nobody can tell you when you should be past a certain point. Like I think a lot of times in the community, we're like, okay, just leave this toxic person, leave your toxic family, leave, 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 leave. And yes, you can leave, but not everybody can leave, you know. But we do have to acknowledge that it's not so comfortable, and that's the reason why people want to hold on. I've even seen this with working in domestic violence shelters, that women who've left, and I'll ask them what made it hard to leave, and I was trained to say what made it hard to leave versus why'd you stay so long, because people will be like, what are you blaming me, what are you doing? And then they don't want to open up and talk to you. So the thing to ask these people is, what made it hard to leave? And when you talk about it, they'll be like, well, I love this person. And so that love is a strong drug, and even if it's not romantic, love will make you stay. Okay. And I say this not because of something that I learned in a textbook, but stuff that I've seen in my life and that I deal with a lot of clients. You know, they've endured the physical abuse, the emotional abuse, the financial abuse. Why? Because this person wanted love. And the reason why I named this focusing on yourself, because we're constantly looking at the other person and thinking that, wow, if I can just get this person to love me again like they loved me on the first day I met them, or if I could get my parent to love me again before I really understood that they were a narc and they were like my worst enemy and my abuser, if I can just get them to go back there, everything would be okay. And we find that no matter what we do, it's never okay. And when we leave those relationships, sometimes there's a part of us that longs for the good days. But this is why I say to write down in your notebook every horrible thing this person put you through. And you can glance at that. I'm looking at my book here. When you start getting lonely and say, I want to go back, even though I'm healed, I've been watching Samyra's video. I've been watching Dr. Ramani, spiritual whistleblower, whoever you've been watching. You know, and sometimes you may get weak because there's only so many videos you can get to pump yourself up, to feel good about why you left. Write that stuff down in your own hand, your own pen, on your own phone, and go back to that, and you can look at that. So that's my piece where I address the feelings of it, and also the feelings when you leave that can come. And this is also key to focusing on yourself, because focusing on the feelings, because I grew up in a time, and I don't know if this is just a black community, and I doubt it is. So you let me know, my non-black folk and my black folk, what do you think? I want to hear what you all have to say in the comments. That I didn't see people really addressing their feelings. You know, a person could be looking at you screaming and going off, and as soon as you say, are you mad? They're like, I'm not mad. I don't get mad. You can't make me mad. And I'm like, well, a moment ago you were talking like this. Hello, life is great, la la la. Now all of a sudden you're like, argh. Okay, excuse me. Something happened there. Clearly you're mad. Or the person could be in front of you or me crying, tears rolling all down their eyes, and you ask, oh, are you sad? No, I'm not sad. I don't get sad. What? So focusing on ourselves means acknowledging our feelings. That does not mean that if you're sad and depressed, that I'm saying you acknowledge the feeling like, okay, I feel sad because I left this toxic relationship and I miss it right now. But you know what? I may sit down and cry for a second, but I'm still going to get up. I'm still going to get dressed, get on about my day. If you have children, you still get up, you take care of your children. You're not trying to cry in front of your children and break down in front of your children. You're acknowledging those feelings, but you're still getting up and you're moving. I'm not telling you to embrace the sadness and the depression and be like, well, since I'm sad and depressed because I left this narc, or the narc left me, I'm just gonna sit in bed and eat bonbons all day and eat popcorn, microwave popcorn, and drink Pepsi and all day and chase it down with some Patron. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying you say, I'm not having a good day. It's not my best day. Yeah, I miss this person. Yeah, I miss my friend. But for the good of me, I had to let this thing go. And then that's how you go about it. And if you have any questions, feel free to let me know so I know what you're thinking and whatever. Again, if you weren't here for when I said thank you for helping me get to the over 1,000, thank you so much. And I thank you all for whoever's watching. I see it looks like a few people are in here. And thank you for coming, because this is my first live and I'm happy about it. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. The reason I never went live, because I was scared. I'm not gonna lie. Even though I was doing my videos, it was different because you put the video up and eventually somebody will come and watch it. But the fear was like, if I go live, is anybody gonna come? Because I'm like, I get views and I am happy about that, but it'd be like 100 and something or two, you know, about maybe 200. Sometimes it take a while to get there. And even though I appreciate it, I'm like, I don't know if them people gonna come though for a live, because sometimes it take them, you know. Oh, you say you be scared too, Evelyn. Thank you for letting me know. And the reason I did it, I'm happy you commented, Evelyn, because it reminds me. Thank you, Evelyn, because I had put in the community section, I said, what do I need to do to get my viewership up? Because this was on me. I ain't do my research thoroughly, because I had assumed I had already surpassed that 4,000 watch hours to be monetized. So when I got to the 1,000, I was like thinking, yeah, about to be monetized. There we go. Oh, okay, nice to see you, Mama Bear. All right, so I was thinking, yeah, about to be monetized. Then I went on to YouTube and I looked and I'm like, yeah, I don't think so. Then even YouTube sent me something, way to go on your 1,000, but you're not there yet as far as the hours. And when you get there, we'll let you know. I'm like, dang it, YouTube. So Evelyn was nice enough to tell me, suggest to me in the comments section that you gotta go live. And I was like, I did ask people, but I didn't want to hear that. So for like a week or so, I was like, yeah, I ain't listening to Evelyn. I don't want to do that. So I saw the comment though, and I thanked Evelyn, but in the back of my mind, I was like, Evelyn, I'm not doing that. I'm not. I can't see myself doing it. But then somebody else that I watched called Pharaoh said that. If you haven't checked Evelyn out, you'll see her in the comments. Check out Evelyn's channel. She does some hair. I'm telling y'all, I'm going to have me some long hair dealing with Evelyn. Because she up there has something, I forget, some kind of L'Oreal flat iron that get your hair all type of straight and doing all kind of stuff. I told Evelyn, I said, I don't know, I switched some shampoo and was using some crazy stuff in my head. It was feeling like a Brillo pad and all rough in the middle, and it was horrible. And I was like, how I'm gonna go live? And so she told me to get some better, basically some better shampoo and conditioner. So check out Evelyn's channel. And Pharaoh said that too. So both of them, I looked at that as confirmation from God. Like, look, 2 people have told me to go live within a week. I need to go ahead and go live. So I just want to say that, because I know sometimes when I look at people on the YouTube, I see like, oh, they look so confident, oh, they're so bold. And I just want to just let you know that I was scared. And Evelyn is in here and said she was scared too, and she apparently go lives, and she got her shorts and stuff, whatever they call it, YouTube shorts, something like that, and reels or something. I have to get into that. Don't expect me to do that no time soon. I'm just trying to get in with the live. Okay, so, but yeah, check out Pharaoh said that too. He talks about all types of topics, and he's an older gentleman, and I love his perspective because it gives you some information that you probably don't know if you're of a certain age, way younger than me. So from a generation that some of us have already lost that generation, but he's still here giving out good information. Oh yes, I love you. Who is that? I done lost the comment. Oh, here it is. Hey Samyra, once I get paid from this new job, I'm going to book a consult with you. Yeah. Thank you so much. Oh, I see how to keep them on the screen now. Yeah. Thank you for mentioning it, Dark Dahlia, because if you want to book a session with me, you can always do that. I'll put it, it's in the comment section of all my videos. I'll also put it in this one if I figure out how to link it. You can book with me through VisiBook. And I am on Pacific Standard Time, guys. And I don't know if I don't say this enough, but people get confused, honey. They be on there booking with me for their time. I'm like 11 Pacific Standard, and they be on there waiting for me, and I'm still in bed asleep, y'all. Somebody called before I got this new phone. My phone turned on. When I tell you I was sleeping on top of my phone, this person, I think they heard me snoring. The phone immediately connected to the video. I was so embarrassed, but I'm telling you, I was asleep. I am on Pacific Standard Time, Los Angeles time, guys. So Please be mindful of that. But back to what I was talking about. So focusing on healing. If you're new here, embrace those feelings. You're going to feel sad when you leave these relationships. You love this person. It's okay. You may feel grief in its different stages. Some people don't have every feeling, and some people do. You're going to feel, what else? Anger. That's a big one. Was anybody else angry after you dealt with somebody toxic, or was it just me? Okay, look, I do believe in being non-violent unless somebody hit me first, and that's just me. And I know sometimes people may say, well, you should hold their arms. Look, I ain't holding nobody's arms unless it's a little kid. And it was hard for me to do that with a kid. I worked as a behavioral specialist, and I had these kids, oh my God. They put us somewhere in some trailers far to the back, okay? These kids had such behavior issues that other kids would point at us when we came out of the classroom, because the police would be called, all kind of stuff. And even though this was elementary, some of these kids was getting bad. Bad. I don't care what you say. I said they was bad. And they was big. And the little girl I used to have would spit on me, would hit me, all kind of stuff. So I tell you, I can't do well with no hitting and all kind of stuff like that. But yes, so I try to be nonviolent. But some of these people, these toxic narcs, will make you get angry to the point that you want to hit them, that you're cussing people out, or that you're doing something that's usually uncharacteristic of you because you've had enough. So let me see. I've been watching you since 2019. Thank you so much. When I was still living in a toxic narc household, and I have since moved out overseas, and I'm working on healing now. They upset your spirit to the point your character changes. And thank you for your support, and thank you for being honest with us about that. You know, and that is definitely the truth. And I thank you all for being here, hanging out with me for years. I love you all. Thank you. But yeah, and they want to change your character, you know, and that's a good thing why you left, because their goal is to get you to act nutty, get you to act crazy, for lack of a better word. I know it ain't politically correct if you're saying crazy, but look, I was born at a certain time and raised in the 90s, and that was a big word then. When I said, I don't mean any harm by it, but that's just what I say. But they want to get you to be out of your character. They want to get you to act crazy. Why? Because first thing, it's a power move. And how I know this, because my mother told me this. Like, if I would start screaming, finally standing up for myself, she would start smirking, laughing. You know what? It should be a narcissistic smirk, because a lot of them got that. They sit back, and after they'll say some stuff to get you going off, and as soon as you start going off, they'll hush for a bit, and they get this funny smirk on them because they looking at you, and they like, yeah, I got you to act like you don't act. Now who's in control? Because if whoever is controlling your emotions, that person has power over you in that moment. And they like that. Because some of them, if they recording you, I've heard people talking about, who is that? The Johnny Depp and that woman. I can't remember her name. I'm going to tell you why I didn't watch it, because as soon as I saw her face, it was all in her eyes. She had a personality disorder, and I don't care what nobody say. Soon as I saw her, Amber, thank you. As soon as I saw that woman, I said, I don't have to listen to nothing she say. I know it, baby. I was raised in the household, okay? My person turned the narc on me when I was 5 years old. Before that, it wasn't like that. But as soon as my sister came along, that's when I was discarded. But I'm going to tell you, I've been seeing that thing, and I'm 43 now. So when I seen that woman, her eyes, I just looked at her body language. I said, oh, no. I don't care what nothing she say, who say what. I already see what it is. So yeah, and yeah, I like that you mentioned the smear campaign. They told everyone I was crazy, had mental problems. Yes, that's narcissistic. Yeah, that's the thing. And you know what? And the thing I like about God is so funny to me, because I was my mother was telling folks in the family behind my back that I was crazy. And the crazy thing about it, they would sit there and listen to her. I don't know what they thought we're gonna do. And when I say family, in case any of them are here or pop up, I'm not talking about all family. I'm talking about who it apply to. But if there is family in here and they get offended, it must be you, and so you deal with that. That's a you problem. So the thing is they sit around and listen to that. And I'm sure they were not defending me, okay? Because my mother is big. She was working the steel mill, big man hands, man feet, 6 foot tall, probably about 350. You know, my mother was scared men. So I just assumed that they weren't saying nothing to defend me, okay? But as soon as they get off, and don't y'all laugh at my little broken phone. I'm using a good one to record this one. Soon as they get off, they would call me back in the day, Samyra, your mama just said that you was crazy. Your mama said you put your sister out the house. Your mama said you mental. Your mama said something wrong with you. Your mama said you ungrateful. Your mama said she would buy you furniture if you would just humble yourself and ask her. But instead you choose to use furniture that's used instead of asking her. These are the kind of phone calls I would get. So, of course, after leaving these, and this is when I was still there, but I'm just saying emotions you have about leaving these toxic relationships and why you're still there. Who wouldn't be angry if they're hearing this? Because at the time, I was very fragile in my personality or mental, whatever you want to call it, to the point in anxiety, like, oh my God, what are these family members thinking of me? What are they saying about me? Oh my God, you know, they're going to think I'm crazy. And I wanted so much, and I'm thank you, Sahara, that these messages about toxic families, I'm sorry it resonated with you, you know, but I'm happy that you're learning something from this. I'll say it that way. You know, because I'm never happy that somebody went through this stuff, but I'm happy that hopefully that you take something from this. You know, so I was so much. Am I the only one? I wanted to clear my name up in these streets, y'all. But I don't know if it's something about getting older to the point it's like, you know what, I ain't got to clear my name up. Oh, the reason I said was what I think is a guy thing, because I was called crazy all the time and like something was wrong with me. Then I'm the one that became the mental health professional. And to this day, though, she would still call me crazy. And it's like, and not that I'm snobby like that, but I can, if you want to be snobby-ish, I can go there with you. And thank you so much for the thumbs up. And it's like, you ain't even got no credentials and you still going around telling me, who has some credentials, that I'm crazy. And this is the part of that narcissism, that grandiosity, this entitlement, that they don't even have credentials to call you mentally ill or tell you what's wrong with you mentally. And they're out here, oh yeah, they're crazy. Something's wrong with them. Who sent you? What school did you go to? Who helped you? What books are you getting this from? You just pull this out the air. And the crazy thing, your family will be around them. Yeah, she is. Something wrong with her, you know? So, of course, you're going to have some feelings. Another feeling, anger. Girl, I'm telling you, like I said, I'm nonviolent. But when I was living with the narc roommate, oh my God, when I first came back to LA, living with the narc roommate who is actually a relative of a narc, of my narc relative. Anywho. So I was calling this girl my cousin, because why not? You know, she my auntie's cousin, whatever. So, anywho, I would have visions of strangling this girl. Everything was a problem. If we would go to the beach to walk, because you know it's LA, and we would go to the beach to walk, Manhattan Beach, and I'm just walking, we're exercising, we're having fun. I'm like, what you listening to? She like, I'm listening to Bow Wow. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna try that. I'm like, oh, what else you listening to? She like, oh, Joe Budden. I'm like, oh, Joe Budden. Okay, let me try that. So we're good, we're laughing, we're walking, and next thing you know, it's like, you shouldn't walk like that. People are gonna think things of you. And that's what the narc do. They act like they unstable, and this is what throws you off. Because at one moment, y'all having a good time, hee-heeing, ha-ha, having fun, and then they say some old crazy slick stuff to you. You're like, where did that come from? You know, and that's the part that makes it hard to leave, because they're so hot and cold, hot and cold, hot and cold. But the thing is that I've learned from that situation. You show me that once or twice, first, I'm gonna call it out. Cause see, I'm gonna give you a chance to say it, and I'm gonna call you out. So the thing is, if they say something crazy, let's say if I could do that over, and she said to me, why are you walking like that? Somebody's gonna think something to you. You're swinging your arms. Somebody's gonna think something about you. And the way that I would call that is to say, are you trying to embarrass me? Looking at the person straight in the eye. Are you trying to embarrass me and leaning in? Why would you say that? And most times people are back up, well, no, I'm just saying, but no, me. Are you trying to embarrass me? Like, what is your purpose? What are you trying to get me to feel? Trying to get me to feel bad? What are you trying to do? You know, and from that point, if they try to put it back on me, oh, you're sensitive, blah, blah, blah. Okay, bye. Because I've seen that too much. Usually people who don't take accountability, calling you sensitive, calling you names. Oh my God, you need to get over yourself. Every friend should be able to critique people. Bye. Because it's a difference between critiquing somebody who actually loves and concerned about me or you. The first thing, they're not saying no crazy stuff to you, talking about why you walking with your arms like that. You silly helper, I'm pumping my arms trying to get some of this fat off. Get some of that fat off your crazy mouth. But anywho, see, that's what I mean. You see how I just turned angry real quick? Because these people will make you feel that way. So now I'm going to move on into some other ways of how to heal, because I wanted to address the feelings that come with it, because we don't do that enough in this community. I haven't done it enough, because there's feelings that come with it that make it hard for people to leave. And when they do leave, those feelings can get in the way, that loneliness, boredom, sadness, anxiety. How am I going to do things for myself? This person has been doing it for me. You know, now I got to do things for myself. Maybe you got to pay the bills now by yourself. Maybe now you got to take care of the kids more about your alone. You don't have that help maybe that you used to have, or you don't have that fun time that you used to have, because the narc can be super fun and outgoing and witty, whatever it is, and it's trying to deal with those things. And I'm saying, yes, embrace being uncomfortable, embrace that you lost something. And also something I learned from Robert Greene that he talks about, also looking within. What I say about that is because I see a lot of times that people will ask me, even in therapies sometimes, and I understand this, you know, sometimes people will say, well, why is that narcissist like that? Why is that toxic person like that? They shouldn't be like that. They should be better. Why did they treat me like that? And it's normal when you come against, and I call it an evil. You can believe what you want to believe. It is in the DSM, the diagnostic manual that they use in psychiatry and also in mental health to diagnose. Narcissism is classified as a diagnosis, but for me, I'm always like, I don't know. The reason I say that, even though they have the same traits, you have to have a certain amount of traits to be a narcissist. You can't just have one, like grandiosity. It has to be more than that. Lack empathy, you know, it has to be more symptoms than just 1, 2. I think it's about 4 symptoms out of maybe 7 or 9 of them that it is, something like that, if that makes any sense. But the thing is that when you're dealing with this, and I totally forgot where I was going with that. I totally did forget where I was going with that. But no, okay. Focusing on yourself is, instead of always trying to figure out what's going wrong with these people, why did it happen, you know, also looking within, like, what was it about me who attracted these type of people? And that's the hard part, because I notice, I think people always want to point the fingers. But a pastor that I used to attend, he says, when you point your fingers at somebody, you have 3 more. See these? They're pointing back at me. When I point these at you, these fingers are pointing at me. So also to see, like, yeah, this hurt. I feel sad. I was depressed. I was anxious or whatever when I left this narcissistic, toxic relationship. But now let me examine myself. What about me kept me in this relationship? Because narcs, they meet all kind of people, and from my experience, they don't all behave the same with everybody else. What do you all say? You know, they don't behave the same with everybody, because I've seen my mother, some other people who was full-blown narcs with me, turn around and be the nicest, little sweetest thing with other people. So I had to look at myself and take inventory. Yes, self-awareness equals empowerment. You're right, powerful majesty. Thank you for coming in. So I had to look at myself. What about me was causing that? Yeah, they do respect others, the social veneer and facade. Yeah, that is right. And I've also seen, though, even though they have that social facade, that some people, at least the ones I knew, was still nice to some other people. you know. And so I had to see, like, okay, this here, because my narc roommate would have her friends come over and they would spend the night sometime, and she was never poking at them like she was poking at me about my hair, my earrings. My earrings was an old lady earring. Oh, well, you should dress this way, you should. She was trying to do everything to control me. And the thing was, is I was tolerating too much of her crap. The first time, okay, she did something, I wasn't like, I would call it out, but then still she'd be like, oh, you want to go for drinks? Oh, you want to do this? And I'm like, oh, okay, she seems better. Never once did she apologize to me. Had never acknowledged anything. But I still was like, oh, maybe it's better now. But there was no clue that anything was better. So that was something that I had to listen to, forgiving. I was allowing my concept of forgiveness, as I learned in the black church, you know, which I do totally believe is incorrect of how it's taught, of forgiving these people, and they haven't even asked for forgiveness. They have not acknowledged any forgiveness. You know, it's an area for forgiveness, and just going back into these relationships with people and expecting change when they haven't said they wanted to change and haven't given you any signs of change. So that was me. So yes, this is inventory. When you leave these relationships, this is how you heal. Because like Robert Greene says, you got to look at yourself so closely to say, I made a mistake in this relationship. What was that mistake? And once you figure those out, you vow to yourself that you will never make such a mistake again. So what I vow to myself is that when I see the signs of this toxic behavior, I'm calling it out immediately. If this person continues with that behavior, the relationship is over. Blocking, you know, and you can't do this with everybody, but I'm talking about friendships where I can do this. Blocking that person. For every social media, blocking the phone, because I called the behavior out. I gave the person a chance to work on this, and they still wouldn't acknowledge any wrongdoing. So it's like I'm over, because too much of my history, I have seen these toxic relationships to know what it is. I'm not new to this. So when I see the signs, I already know what it is. Like, for instance, if you check out my books, and I hope you will check out my books on Amazon, SamyraAlexander. The links are also, excuse me, allergies, y'all. The links are also in the comment sections of my videos, and I'm going to try to put it up here too, and also in my community section. I redid my book, I Should Have Worn a Curtain, a novella by SamyraAlexander. If you read it before, this is a totally revamped version. Also, I have done Road to Malevolence. I sometimes get tripped up, even though I came up with the title, Road to Malevolence, SamyraAlexander, also on Amazon. So you can get these in book form, and you can also get these. Yes, I'm telling y'all, I'm loving all my books, but right here, my Janet baby, because it's my first novel, and she was so much fun to work with. She's only 9 years old, but please don't get it messed up. This is not a kid's book. It's trigger warnings, corporal punishment, spankings. There is infidelity in this book. It's a lot about church life and how she deals with that, because she ain't saved, honey. She don't know the Lord, but her family do. So she's dealing with that, and it's a lot of stuff going on. Child kidnapping, child murder without the graphics. So yes, so it's a lot going on. I would love to see the Road to Malevolence transform into a film. I would love that too. That would be my big desire. So please check these out on Amazon. You can get them in ebook, Kindle Unlimited, and also in paperback. And also part 2 to I Should Have Worn a Curtain. I revamped that one, totally revamped it. And you can get that. It should be out within the next week or two, part 2 of this. And follow me on Amazon. You'll see when you go to my book section, there's a place where you can follow the author. If you scroll down, you will see my picture. You can follow the author, and that way anytime I release a book, you'll know as soon as I release it, Amazon will alert you. But yeah, So that's the thing. Going back to what I was saying, taking inventory of your life. Were you too kind, too nice? Were you allowing people to be a doormat? And that's the thing. Like I'll say sometimes people will let people continue to kick them, continue to talk to them crazy, continue they do this because sometimes I believe a low self-esteem and thinking that if I just stay around, I'm going to get that love this person first had, that goodness that they had for me when I first met them. But no, that is gone. And a lot of times that was just a facade to reel you in, to make you think that everything was good. Why? Because if people are giving you this love bomb and dropping all these gifts on you, dropping all this love, attention upon you, standing up for you, doing all kind of stuff that they know your parents probably didn't do for you, that they know your last relationship or last friend didn't do. They try to be all this. Why? So they can get you to drop your guard down. You'll be like, oh wow, I can share all my trauma with this person because they know everything that I'm going through. They're doing everything I need. And it's like you've not even known this person for 6 months and they're trying to be your all. Then eventually the things change and you're like, well, oh my God, maybe they're having a bad day. But then that bad day changes into a bad month, a bad year, a bad 2 and 3 years. Now you got kids by the person. Now they're telling everybody you're crazy, you're delusional, something's wrong with you, they're stealing your money, they're doing all kind of stuff, taking your car without your permission, and you continue to accept them back because I'm looking for that first day. It's like I heard somebody say about crack. The reason why people were so strung out on crack is because that first high was phenomenal. Not that I know, but that it was great. And so they spend all the rest of their years trying to get back that first high, and they will never get it back because that first time was the best time. And it's the same way with these toxic people. And I'm not gonna say don't feel bad because I can't control how you feel, but people will feel bad, like, oh my God, I was stupid, how did I let this happen, I was weak. Those are natural thoughts to have when you leave these relationships. So what I'm saying is trying to be patient with yourself. And even though you may have that thought of, oh, I was weak, were you weak? If you were, what can you do to not be weak anymore? I can set up a boundary, meaning if this person is verbally disrespecting me, I'm going to call it out. And if they continue to do it, I'm going to walk. If this person takes money on my car without asking, I'm going to set a limit. I'm going to walk away. Whatever you can do, because like if you're married, it's going to be harder. But I'm talking to people where you can sort of get out of these things quicker. Families more and friendships. But setting these boundaries and sticking to them. Because like a lot of times I work with women and they're good about coming up with boundaries. Like I can work with people coming up with boundaries, but the thing is you have to be able to stick to it. Because you can't be like, what is that? The boy that cried wolf. And I may be older than some of you all, so I'll explain it. So basically, the little boy was at the little sheep place, whatever it's called. And he was supposed to be watching and let everybody know, a wolf is coming, a wolf is coming. That way everybody get up and they get the pitchforks or whatever they was using to get the wolf, And so he would start screaming and there was no wolf. A wolf, a wolf. And people would get up and they're ready to kill the wolf. And then he'd laugh, ha, 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 something like that. And they go back to bed mad at him like, stop doing that. Because one day nobody's going to believe you. And then happens again. A wolf, a wolf. Everybody come out ready to kill a wolf. And everybody's mad because the little boy's lying and he think it's funny. A third time it happens, the wolf is really there and eating up all the sheep. He starts screaming, wolf, wolf. Nobody comes. Next morning, whatever, he's like, why didn't nobody come? And they're like, you're always crying wolf. Don't nobody believe you. And I said all that to say it's like that with these toxic people. You're always saying, well, if you do this to me again, I'm out. And then they do it and you still there. So what do you think that person thinks of you now? Do they think you're a person of your word? Do they think that you're a person that loves yourself? Do they think that you're a person that is worthy of respect? Because like I said, I came from the old school. Well, my parents and people of their age would say this thing, find a fool and bump his head. Meaning, if you find somebody gullible, naive enough to allow you to walk over them, to use them, and they continue to come back and beg for more, just keep on misusing them because apparently they like it. And these narcissists, and it's sad to say that, but they do think that way. So it's taking inventory of ourselves and saying, I love myself enough not to allow these people to continue to misuse me. So I've stepped myself away. So how can I make sure that I heal on my journey? Like I said, making sure, seeing where you went wrong and vowing that you will never go wrong like that again. Standing up for yourself, walking away and mean it when you walk away, not continuing to come back for more because it looks like it's like a sign of weakness. Also, what can you do? The social media, the people that still are friends of friends, that people you knew, if these people aren't close to you and you have a genuine relationship with them, also blocking them. You know, even if it comes to family, because a lot of times, and I'll say this from personal experience, that your relationship with extended family members is never going to be any good, because whoever that narc was in your family, your mother, father, sisters, or whoever, has tainted your name so bad within your family that these people ain't got nothing to do with you. They will watch your page really just to see if you are crazy like your parents said you were. They won't like nothing. How I know this? They won't like nothing you post. They won't share nothing you post. You can say you graduated from college, your kids graduated, they won't like it. You will think that these people aren't even on social media, especially if they don't post a lot. But then you go to other family members' pages, their birthday, their kid birthday, their kid did something great, or whatever it is, or a holiday, and these same people won't acknowledge you, but then your other family members, oh, happy birthday, oh, congratulations, oh, we so proud of you. And you like, I didn't even think you were on social media like that, because you don't really post. Oh, you on here, you just won't like nothing I do. But as soon as some crazy, and this is what I'm saying. So another part of this is these people, even though it's hard, sitting with that uncomfortable feeling and trying your best not to defend yourself. Because these people don't care about you like that. Like I said, they won't engage with you at all on social media. But if something crazy in your family pop up, they'll be the first ones in your dang on DM trying to get some information. Hey, the lady behind the mask, how you doing, from Twitter. I like your videos, y'all. If you're interested in author interviews, please follow the lady behind the mask. I went to her channel the other day, talked to her on Twitter, but I went to her channel on YouTube, and she got some good, really good author interviews. So yes. So check her out. But yeah, the thing is that these people don't care about you, but as soon as something go down, they want to be in your DM. Well, did you hear about this with the family? Are you in contact with this person? Why you not in contact? They know good and well why you not in contact, because they were at the table when your parent or whoever was calling you crazy, and they weren't there defending you. They were there listening to it all, listening, taking it all in, never challenging that person, taking that person's word for it. And so now they want to try to come and say something to you. People like that should be blocked if you're bold enough. Why? They ain't got nothing to say to you, and it ain't nothing but a trigger. So why? Part of healing is to reduce triggers if you can. If you know, looking at how they're praising everybody else in your family but act like you don't exist on social media, why continue to follow them? I ain't saying you gotta block them. And the thing is standing in your truth and not in the, because as soon as you start blocking them, if you decide to do that, these people ain't for you. Or if you unfollow them, whatever, to the point that they even know it. Like, I don't even want you following me, seeing what I'm doing. The thing is standing in your truth, and you ain't got to give no justification for these people. Why? These people, and this is hard, and I'm not saying it's easy, so trust me with that. It's learning to sit with it, being uncomfortable, and saying, yeah, I feel uncomfortable. Yes, I feel like maybe I'm being me, but I know I'm doing what's right for me at the end of the day. Because don't nobody know what's best for you. You can come see me for counseling, I can tell you whatever, but at the end of the day, you know what's best for you. I don't know what's best for you. I can ask you some questions, give you some things to think about to help you start seeing things in a way that's clear, and what's maybe the path that is right may be right for you based on what you're telling me, but I'm not the expert on you and nobody else is the expert on you. You deep down know what's right for you. So also trusting that gut, something in you is saying I shouldn't follow them on social media anymore. I don't want to see what the narc is doing, because maybe the family is posting pictures of the narc, or maybe you still following the narc secretly. No, cut that stuff off. Why give yourself something to constantly be triggered like, I remember when that person said this or did that to me. Oh, look at them smiling. They're in Fiji now and I'm still sitting in the cold. It is a blizzard outside, but this one is in Fiji. Why, God, why? No, cut that stuff off. My thing now, and I told y'all that they had contacted me telling me that my mother was sick and on the verge of death. When did this happen? Like 2 months ago, I started getting these DMs, right? DMs, excuse me, my no allergies. DMs for folk, like I said, won't like nothing I post, know I write books, won't share my posts, won't say congratulations. I have written 3 books and have released them all, and I've re-released some of them because there was some issues that I had to get fixed. None of my own because I paid the editor, but anywho, it was still editing problems that came to my attention, and I paid more money to get them fixed. So y'all go grab these books, honey. Anyway, but yeah, so will never say nothing to me, but as soon as my mother was allegedly sick to the point of death, here these people go. And right at the point, I hadn't already come up with a plan. See, this is another good step on the step of healing, is plan for the worst. So that way you'll know what to do, because I even got off guard. Me who makes channels of narcissism got caught off guard. Okay, I did, and I'm gonna tell y'all. So I get the DM, oh, sorry about your mom. Have you been in contact? Even the ex-narcissist roommate called me. I got a new phone. And her number apparently wasn't blocked on this one. She called talking about, hey. I'm like, who is this? And I'm about to hang up. I already knew who it was. And she's like, oh, no. Your mother, they said she's on the verge of death. I just told you. I'm like, okay, thanks, bye. I'll look into it, bye. I hung up. And so then I started getting some other messages from family. And so I answered a phone call. And some of you all may notice, this person I have not seen since our 2011 family reunion. And the last time I saw him, okay, and we don't talk like that. I just assumed at the time that he was a cool relative that I would see every now and again. When I saw him in 2011, he picked me up from wherever I was staying, took me to breakfast with some other family members. It was just me and him and his woman in the car. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, he live in the Midwest, I live in California. How this man in my business, anywho, that should have been a red flag there, because who do this? He probably hadn't seen me for 10 years then, and when we did see, it was, hey, cuz, how you doing? Good to see you, yes, and that was it. This man don't even know me. 2011, I'm in the backseat of his car, trapped. Because I'm not in my own car. That's why a lesson learned. I try to always be in my own stuff, because these dang on toxic people will get you trapped. So I'm in the car trapped. And he's like, yeah, I talked to your sister. And she said she thinks that she's turning into your mom personality-wise. And she don't want to be that way. And said something about, like, me and my sisters and my mother, we didn't have the best relationship. Again, I don't even know him. But y'all need to fix that. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And this is when I was really big in justification. I'm like, no, you know, you don't know. I ain't did nothing to these people. I'm like, these are these people who be coming after me for nothing. I'm loaning them money, all kind of stuff. And, you know, and then just still be hecka toxic. Because I wasn't setting boundaries with these people, which made them assume, and I'm not going to say assume because I was weak at the time, and that they found a fool in me and they kept bumping my head. At my mother talking about, we were on Verizon together. Oh, your sister went over the minutes, but you used it after her. So the bill generated all the extra money and overcharge fees to me. And I was paying all the overcharges, even though I wasn't texting or doing nothing at the time. You know, so stupid stuff like that I was falling for. So with no boundaries will make it hard for you to heal or to even get out of these relationships. So he was telling me all this kind of stuff. You need to fix it. You're in mental health. It's on you. It's on you. Hadn't talked to him another 10 years. Fast forward to my mother supposedly sick unto death 2 months ago. I say supposedly because I assume she's still alive and not dead. And they were acting like she was about to die 2 months ago. and they wanted me to be in my feelings about it. So he hits me up and he calls me through Messenger. I ask, all not just going through the niceties. Oh, I heard you just published a book. He heard I published a book, but he ain't never liked the post. He ain't never said congratulations. Ain't never nothing. Only time he ever come on my post, which was very infrequently, was to say something opposite. Is it just me, y'all, or y'all be dealing with that too? Folks don't want to say nothing to you unless they got something to disagree about. So that's what he did. And so he telling me basically again how don't be basically hard-headed, don't be stubborn. It's your mother. Yes, I know she's a narc. You know, I guess it's 2022 now. People can go ahead and confess they knew that they know who narcissists are. You know, basically, I know she's a narc and this, but you're in mental health. You should do this. See, he got it all messed up. See, and that was my fault for not hanging up in his face, because that's a boundary of mine on the road to healing, is having boundaries and not even caring about these people feeling, because he's so out of pocket, so disrespectful. He thinks that me, a woman of age 43, needs him to come and tell me how I need to behave with my mother, telling me what I need to do. And they do that because they think you're stupid. Because why else would someone come to you and start telling you everything you need to do in your life unless they thought you were stupid? Because apparently you don't know how to handle your life. And they need to come out, Mr. Smarty Pants, and tell you how to get your life together. Because if you just listen to him, who is the smart one, your dumb self will fare better in life. See, that's the unspoken part of it. And people get mad at me because I say it, because I see the truth. I see the discernment is there, and people don't like that because they want me to pretend like I'm dumb and I'm clueless, like, and go along with the game. And I'm not going along with the game because I see what it is. So yeah, he want to tell me all this. And so the thing is, I say all that to say, and eventually I did have to block him. Then after I blocked him, another family member, you know, comes and says, oh, you know, so-and-so really meant well, because I think they watched my video that I made right after that happened. It was like, oh, they meant well, blah, 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 blah. And see, the thing is that me, where I'm at in my life, I don't need anybody to tell me who means what, because the discernment is where it is that I can decipher what's being said to me. I don't need interpreters coming to say, well, this was the meaning of that. No, no, no. They need to mind their business. So how to heal? Let these people, they call you in Messenger, block them in Messenger. Turn off, take your number out of Messenger. Because see, Messenger has been a problem for me with these people coming back into my life. And where I messed up also was my sister, when she was like, oh, I want to respect your boundaries, but Mom, do you want to know? I was like, well, you can tell me what, you know. But what I should have done was like, no, thank you. No, thank you. Yeah, thank you, Dark Dahlia. Changing the phone number is sometimes good. Because, and another thing, and I hate to say it about the truth, and I'm not going to say it's a lie about my mother's health, okay? I'm not. But what I am going to say, she has had this big tumor, and I mean it's big, like a big golf club, on her head ever since maybe I was 12. And she would cuss people out if they asked her about it, even our older relatives who she was respectful to. She wouldn't cuss at them, but she just raised her voice, basically making people change the subject. And then it was like nobody could ever talk about it. But then she realized in like the 2000s that she could try to get money and sympathy out of people if she played it to her advantage. So it was always like, oh, I need this amount of money because I need an MRI. And I'm like, don't you have health insurance? And then she's like, oh, well, I need a CAT scan. Oh, I'm too big. I can't fit in the machine. Oh, I need this and this. And then it was always different prices. And I'm like, something adding up right. Well, then when I would follow up with her, she raised her voice. Like, I don't want to talk about that. I'm like, dude, you brought it up saying you didn't have the money. So why are you trying to go off now? I don't get it. And then at first they like to be the ones who, what is that triangulation? They keep other people apart by gossiping about them and making them hate and despise each other. And so that everybody's coming to the narcissist, and the narcissist is giving out this bad information and lies about everybody else. while the narcissist seems like the innocent person. And I realized what she was doing, so I started talking to my sisters, because me and my sisters weren't talking. My mother would just tell me, divide and conquer. Exactly. She would tell me the most horrible things about my sisters. Oh, they had me watching their kids, they're not giving me money. Oh, this one put their kid on me, her dog on me, and her gerbil, and ain't giving me no money, and I'm struggling and barely got anything to eat. And of course you'd be like, what the heck is wrong with my sisters? Till you find out it's a lie. Or, oh, your other sister, she can't keep a job and she's asking me for money and telling me to send her pizzas, online. Kind of, and then you finally, and how it blew up in my family, I finally started talking to my sisters, and I called my sisters, and they like, that ain't true, that ain't true. And they ain't tell me, because, all the triangulation. I knew she was talking about me and lying to me to them, because she had been doing it most of my life. And so all these relationships are jacked up. So what I look at it like with these family members is that a lot of them have to be cut off, because here they come with the toxic relationship. My mother was so about to die, but I ain't got the call. I'm not wishing death on her. That's where, for me, like, some people will be like, oh, you're unforgiving, you're holding grudges. No, the reason I even talk about it is to help other people in this community to know that, no, you're not crazy, nothing is wrong with you. Something happened to you that should not have happened. I am sorry that it happened, but you can heal. I am also in the process of healing, and we can do better. And life does not have to be, oh, my life was horrible and I cannot do better. That is a lie. And I think people need to know that there is nothing wrong with you, but there was something wrong with the people in your life who did these things to you. Yes, it's a vicious virus that spreads. The only solution is to cut it off. Yes, and I do believe that. And unfortunately, some people I know, they can't cut it off, though. Because if you live with that narcissist, it makes it hard. But if you can save money to get out of that situation, the best. Or even trying to stay to yourself, headphones or earplugs, whatever you can do, going to the library, staying outside of the house as much as possible to get away from these people, getting another roommate, taking on a second job, doing something creative to try to bring in money to get away, if you can, from these people. So yeah, so I was saying all that to say that, yeah, these people, if you can, as far as these extended family members, just, trying to cut that off if possible, because they're not on your side. Because this man, the elder in my family, coming to me trying to get me in a relationship, but admitted that my mother is a narcissist. He knows that. And no, it was like, but trying to get me to go back to that relationship. Now look at that. If this person is who my mother, the worst enemy I've ever faced in my life, laughed and rejoiced if I did bad in school, constantly compared me to other people, telling me no man would ever want me. She don't know how I got friends. I'm not smart enough. No college would ever want me. I had no talent at all. No creativity at all. She and my sisters had all the creativity. My hair was brown. It was ugly. I had a pimple or something on my face. What's the matter with you? What's wrong with your face? All these kind of things. This individual hated me. And these people knew what was going on, but will tell me to go back around them. Why? If I'm in my right mind, go back around somebody who literally rejoiced, and she would laugh. It's one of them evil laughs. I can't describe it. If something went wrong in my life, she wouldn't even try to hide it. It was a kind of thing. I mean, it was like she was sitting around waiting for something bad to happen. Then it even got to the point that even my sister was doing that to me if something happened. Like this constant competitive nature. And these family members and these friends of your family and all that kind of stuff, yes, it is like Dark Dahlia said, it's projection, how they feel about themselves, But these friends of families, they know what was going on, and they didn't try to come to your aid. They did nothing for you. Now all of a sudden, when they find out you ain't talking to the narc, here they come running. Why are they running? Because they're flying monkeys. Flying monkeys, yes. They are doing the bidding for the narcissist, okay? They are speaking, and this is how silly it is. You would think this stuff ends when people are young and in high school or something, but no. These grown people are sitting there having conversations about behind your back. The narcissist can clearly say something to you if they want to, but this other grown toxic person they're talking to you about feels the need to leave the conversation to come to you to be the rescuer. And it's so, and I don't know, and I've had that before. Like, this person is married to someone in my family and would be in my, and this is why I say this messenger is always something. You know, I think I eventually had to unfriend this person. Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did. Because it jumps into my messenger and was like, hey, how are you doing? And like, before I can even say something, it's like, how's your mom? Okay, heifer, you know I don't deal with her. And you know she don't deal with me. That's the truth of it. When they come to me, they act like it's me. But the truth of it is that I believe me and mother came to a joint conclusion at the same time that we didn't want to deal with one another again. I had finally called her out for triangulating me and my sisters and said that she must like it because she constantly was doing it. And when I tried to address the issues that she was saying about my sisters, because I got sick or tired of hearing that they were misusing her, taking her money and doing this other kind of stuff. Not that they were doing it by gunpoint, but she kept giving me these sob stories. Really, she was just trying to get money out of me. And this is why she kept telling me that. She thought I was going to say, oh, they took money from you again. Let me send you something. But I wasn't doing that. So she got so mad at me. She didn't call me. She didn't call me for like 6 months. I think I had finally blocked her. I didn't call her. And then I started getting from the flying monkey sister, it's mother's birthday. It's mother. Sweetie, I'm 6 years older than you. How you gonna tell me when my mama's birthday was? Before they had the adulterous affair to have your ugly, raggedy self, I was here. So you can't tell me when my mama's birthday is. So what? What? So this is how deranged these people are. And it's like, y'all don't realize you the flunky. This is why it's time. This is why to heal from this is to focus on ourselves by not allowing these people in our space. All they want is energy because they don't care about us. Do you really think my sister cared about me missing the birthday? She was doing the work of the narcissist. Just like the one who called me and I got myself in it about mother supposedly about to die. Doing the work of the narcissist. And the thing was, it was this big thing. Even some other people hit me up in the DM. Oh, your mom, have you talked to her? If they didn't even know the right story. Oh, this and this and this and this. She is still living. It could be true finally, but she had been lying about that big thing on her head for years. It's gonna cost $1,000. She telling one relative it's gonna cost $800 to get the thing removed, and the thing would never be removed. And when I would bring it up again, she started going off. I'm like, you the one said you were about to get surgery. Are you gonna get it or not? I'm not talking about that. You said you were getting surgery. I don't want to talk about that, and you need to get over it. And then a year later, she's talking about the thing again, like she ain't had the conversation with you for the last 10 years about that bump on her head. And you like, yeah, oh, okay. So now, people were looking at me funny, I assume, because when they said she was dying because of it, I wasn't emotional and didn't care because it's like she been talking about this, trying to milk money off this big tumor thing on her forehead for like, no, really since about 2000. It's now 2022. So forgive me, not really, that I'm not believing this. And even my cousin was like, when I guess when other people had started saying that I guess my mother was, something was wrong with her, and like they really know, my mother is in the South and most of my family is in the Midwest. They don't know. They getting information from the other narcs that surround her. But anywho, so they're like, one was like, well, don't you think that maybe she's not lying now because they said that she's supposed to be dying, and you know, she just had the surgery, and you know, and some of her memory is gone. And crazy, I allowed somebody to convince me to call my uncle. Because my uncle, and this is why I said leaving these people alone is the biggest part of healing. These old family members, and I know people like to say blood is thicker than water, family is all you have. And for you who have family like that, bravo. I really believe that that's a beautiful thing, but not all of us that have it. So those things may fit your life, but they don't always fit everybody else's, you know? And that's another thing, being careful who you get advice from, because these people who have not gone through what you have gone through will never understand you. And so stop trying to get them to understand. Now, if it's your spouse or something and you're trying to get them to understand, that makes sense. You're in a covenant relationship with this person, you're trying to spend your life with them. But just somebody random, some little extended family member who you probably ain't seen in 10 years, you probably not gonna see in another 10, 20 years for the rest of your life. Forget these people. Okay, because they really not concerned. Some of them just want to be nosy. Some of them just want something else to gossip about. Some of them just want to wear a cape around their neck so they can feel like they put the family together, but they really don't want to do the work. They want to put it all on you. Like the cousin coming to me like he want to put I'm the older one in the family now, I want to put everything together. No, but when I started asking him some questions and calling him out on it, you know, in a respectful way, turns out he really wanted to just put a band-aid over the little cut. See, they lazy. They know that in order to really get some change in your family, it's probably going to take therapy, fasting, and prayer, if you believe in the religious aspect of that, casting out demons, holy water, the man that had the little sprinkler thing for the exorcist, you know. It's going to take some deep work because these are generational curses in your family. Hey, rebounding from narcissistic abuse. Yeah, so it's going to take some generational curse breaking, the power of God, his son Jesus, whatever it's going to take to get this off. Deep therapy on the couch for 5 days a week for 25 years. They don't want to do that work. So they want to pretend like they're trying to heal your family. And since they know it's really a lot of deep work, and they don't want to look at themselves, because I'm telling you, that narcissism thing, it tends to run, from what I'm seeing, it tends to run in little families. Even if they're not full-blown narcissists, they got traits of narcissism, you know? And so they don't want to look at themselves, and then secretly they all a little club. You wonder why they weren't sticking up for you when your parent and that your toxic daddy or whoever it was calling you a narcissist. I mean, calling you the narcissist, saying you were the toxic one, saying you were crazy, something was wrong. They were not sticking up for you because they all were toxic too. Imagine that. What person that's really doing that's really in their right mind is will sit there and listen to somebody going off about their child? You know, I would think like, wow, this is your daughter or your son and you're saying this kind of stuff. You telling people they crazy. If they were, why? Yeah, bad mouthing your own child. That's right, Dark Dahlia. It's like, why wouldn't you try to get them some help? You know, somebody, and that's why people don't like people like me, some. Because I started asking questions. Well, have you tried to get him help? How did you determine that he's crazy? Was he diagnosed by a professional? What was the recommendations of the professional? Have you followed through with those recommendations? Like, why are people okay with people dogging out their kids like that in front of them? You know? It makes no sense. And then some of these family and toxic friends of the family, they'll sit around and listen. The story won't even be adding up right anymore. And they'll still sit there and listen. And how I know that the story won't add up, because the narc have been lying so long, they forget some of their lies, okay? And so they just start weaving together all types of lies, and people start to see after a while, like, I thought you said that this person was this and that. But now we see it's not this and this. But now you're saying it was this and this. But last time you said it was it ain't adding up. I'm going to tell you how I know that, how I learned that. I had to put my sister out because she thought she was going to come out to LA. This was years ago and live off me. And sweetie, she had a child, and I don't care what nobody said. I gave them over a month and a half, and I wasn't moving. I had decided to move out of the city. I was waiting until they found a place. Honey, my mother told everybody that I was crazy. I was putting them out. But sweetie, I was allowing them to find a place. And they found a place. My sister had to sell a lot of her child's toys. And okay, there I am. No, I didn't care because she was that freaking toxic. And you, baby, you not about to come to LA and thinking you about to live off me. LA is too expensive. And that people shouldn't be living off you no matter where you at. Okay? Didn't want to do anything. Told me was coming out here to get a job. Turns out she was coming out here to go to school. I left her the first day she got here, and I come back home. She enrolled in somebody's school. Excuse me, that was not the plan. See, she had switched up the plan before she came. Because how you, being from the Midwest, know about a school and enrolled yourself in it on the first day of being in LA? See, we didn't talk about that. Okay, turned down a good paying job at USC College to go work at some school. I mean, to go to somebody's school. I'm like, what? You know, so my mother was telling everybody I was crazy, and some of them were calling me. I hadn't talked to in years. Oh, she said you crazy. But they never say how long they sat there and listened to it. They never say if they stood up for you. Why? Because they soaking it all in. They like that toxic stuff. I've been around as a young kid where I would have family members. She'd be telling them every embarrassing thing about me, everything. You know what they do? Woo! Mel. Laughing. Why? Because they toxic too. So a lot of them, ain't no need to hang around on my Facebook because I'm still healing. You don't need to be on my Facebook. Yeah, your father did the same thing to you. Yeah, it's sad. I don't need to talk to these people. You know what? If you hear about my mother dying, my mother died, whatever she is, you ain't got to be in my dang on messenger. Ignore me like you ignore me on Facebook. When I post on Facebook, ignore me like that. Don't come in my DM telling me about my mom and asking me no questions, telling me about family and how it's important. Okay? Ignore me like you ignore me on Instagram when I post something on Instagram. But don't try to come in my DM. And another thing that I'm going to say, my uncle, my mother's brother, he, and this was, I shouldn't have done this. I was listening to somebody. I played the fool. It was like, oh, you should call him, you know, because apparently it got back to me. I think my sister, I was talking to her at the time, one of them, not the other one. But was like, oh, yeah, he said, my uncle, my mother's brother, said he had choice words for me. Because apparently they were taking care of my mother, I guess my two sisters. And I was nowhere to be found. Okay. So I shouldn't have done this, but I got his number and I called him. Because I was offended. Because just knowing his history and his history of substance abuse of years. And I was like, you got some choice words? So I called him, and I'm like, hey, it's Sam. He like, oh, hey, how are you? I was like, oh, I heard you had choice words for me. I'm calling. What are those choice words? And he like, This was dumb. Don't do this. Let these people be. And then he's telling me what was going on. And I'm like, no, you need to focus on you. I was like, this is my mother. It's none of your business. You focus on your life, because the last I talked to you, you weren't even talking to your own children. Are you talking to your kids? You focus on you. You got nothing to focus on here. I got this. You got it. And then the phone went dead. I thought he hung up. He called me the next day, drunk out of his mind. I talked to him because I was like, yeah, this will be the last time we talk. I said this to say, because it's like, it doesn't matter. Even then, I shouldn't have even called him. Like, so what he thought. And God rest his soul, because he was telling me, let me tell you this, how crazy things work. I found out that he actually passed away. I found out yesterday. He probably passed away yesterday. This is my mother's brother. This is my oldest uncle. when I was talking to him, because he had words to say to me, he was worried so much about my mother dying, and he wasn't going to be able to see her, and he wanted me to be the one to fix it. And he was like, basically, he knows she was treating him like crap, but he was okay with it as his big sister. And I'm like, look, you can be okay with that, but you can't tell me what I'm going to be okay with. And for me, for healing and growth, it's like not having these conversations. And I say God rest his soul. But he was telling me about his fear about her dying. Come to find out, he died before she died. So he died yesterday, I think, and he was all frantic and worried about her, who was supposedly be dying, but he died first. The stuff works out crazy. I don't know. But I say all that to say, it's like, I just can't allow these people in my life, you know? No more explanations. These people do not pay my bills. These people don't care about me, and it's totally okay. But these will be the same people that if something goes big in your life, they gonna want to be there. Oh, hey, cuz. Oh, my niece. Oh, my nephew, my this and this, and yeah, this, and I used to do this for you. No, 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 no. You ignored my post. You wouldn't share a thing. You wouldn't say congratulations. So when it pop off and go big, when it goes well, just continue to ignore me like you've been ignoring me. That's the way you move on from that dealing with the narcissistic abuse. Another way of focusing on yourself, and this, I don't know if this really counts, but this is a good way I look at about healing, is doing work for other people. That always makes me feel good. Like working in a domestic violence, I get to see people who are not having a good time in life at this moment. Working with their children, the times I've worked with the homeless. Anytime, I'm always working with the homeless. Anytime I'm working with the homeless, I really feel fulfilled, you know? Maybe the job may not be the best, because usually it's something about working in social services. It ain't the clients. Most of the time, it ain't the clients, it's the co-workers. Honey, I don't know where they get these co-workers in these social services, but these people, I'm not gonna, anyway. But giving back to other people. Is there a child in your neighborhood, or someone that you know, that if the parent allows or whatever, if this is something you're into, and you know this family may need food, is there a way that maybe you can bring them food a few times a year? Is there a way, if you know a struggling mom or somebody who not going to take advantage of you and have the kids on you all the time? You know, yeah, the narcs do flock to the health and social services. Oh, God, and they turn out to be your supervisors, but that's another video. But how can you give back to somebody else? And yes, I was being paid to work in with the homeless, but it's always a great feeling to be able to help other people who need it. Like the little kids that come to my door. You know, these kids are homeless. They have witnessed, a lot of them have witnessed physical and emotional abuse. I'll talk to a kid and they'll start telling me, oh yeah, my dad hit her in the eye and we had to leave and take all our stuff. It was late. We had to go to the police. Kids 5 and 6. So forget that the parents be talking about, oh, they didn't hear, they didn't see. Oh, yeah, they did. Because when they sit down with me in a few minutes, they'll tell me everything they heard and saw. But anyway, a lot of that, you know, just giving to somebody else can help you heal. Because you will get to hear and see other people's stories to see that you are not alone. You know, that has always been a thing that I think has been great for me. Also, any questions while I'm just in here just talking and talking? Let's see what you're saying. Experience hoovering. Is it hoovering? I always get it wrong. Hovering around the time of the passing. Oh, you all talking to one another. I love that. But yeah, you know, I want to go back to that about the relative thing. Something just came in my mind from reading it. Is that sometimes it's good to not even entertain these family members when they hit you up about these narcs, even if the narc is allegedly dying or whatever, because sometimes that's just a way to pull you back in. Like I said, my mother may or may not be dying, But it seems all of a sudden it's like everyone who comes to me about it, like, oh, don't you want to call? Oh, don't you want to make it right? Don't you want to go in? And to me, it seems like that's another a trap, like another flying monkey trick to get me back in, because they see that I'm doing well. The goal was to really make me mental, to lose my mind, because I was constantly being told, you're crazy, you're crazy. And words can have a really negative impact on somebody. And so they see I have not gone crazy. I'm on YouTube making my videos. I'm not monetized yet, but I'm getting there. I am the author of books. Again, you can get these at Amazon. I Should Have Worn a Curtain, a novella by SamyraAlexander, and also Road to Malevolence by SamyraAlexander, my first full-length novel. And so they see that I'm not in a mental institution. I'm working Monday through Friday. I am an author. You know, I'm making time to do some stuff that I want, because I don't want to do 9 to 5 forever. And they see this on social media. So they decide to come together like, oh, how can we knock her off track, off course? How can we pull her back into this negativity? You know, it's like, no. I've already identified your personality traits. I've decided that I want to respect and love myself to the point that I'm not putting myself in those situations where I'm about to be treated like crap again. And see, the thing is the reason why I say, if possible, to block these people out and get them out your social media, so you're not constantly seeing them and what they're doing, is just allowing the past to be in the past. Because some of these family members I may never see again, just like the uncle who I had words with, but eventually I was able to listen to him even though he was drunk on the phone. But again, and I eventually had to block his number because of the substance abuse. When I talked to him 2 months ago, he wouldn't stop calling my phone. And I was going to be nice and talk to him, but I had told him, I had already talked to him like an hour, and I was like, okay, I was actually at work. So it's like, I'm going to call you later. And this dude, which is sad. And look, hold on. I got this phone is trying to go dead. So I am going to do a thing here and plug this thing up. So forgive me while I do this. But that was unfortunate that he had to go out that way, and I couldn't have a conversation, like a relationship with my uncle, because that was the situation. I do feel bad for his children that he passed the other day, but it's like, I can't do, you know, I can't do certain people in the family. And I try to live my life with, you know, without the regrets. Another way of, healing, hopefully that worked. Let me see. It says, I test my relative. I don't consider any of you no good ninjas. My family now, and please don't give out my phone number to anyone else to contact me. Right? But they still may try to give out that phone number anyway. You know how they do. Another thing, Samyra, could you expand more on narc financial abuse? The carrot on a stick dangling of money and vague promises of future inheritance. Oh, my goodness. I will do my best with that. Oh, I can speak on the financial abuse that I've had. The creating of lies to get money. That's what I've seen from narc financial abuse. Like I said, what my mother would constantly tell different people, it costs different amounts of money to get that thing on the forehead. It was always like, when you get on the phone with them, they just talk about themselves nonstop. And it's always some type of tactic to get money out of you. And it took me a while to notice. It's like, I would be on the phone with her and she'd be like, oh, I don't know how I'm gonna eat. Oh, I don't know, I can't work. And it's like, why can't you work? You know, that nobody's declared her disabled. You know, I can't do this. I went to church and told them I needed money, and they said, don't you have children? Don't you have an oldest child who can take care of you? Oh, that's so shameful. Your oldest daughter should be taking care of you. I know good and well she didn't go to church and they told her nothing like that. So everything she was doing was a way to get money out of me, and it was constantly. And every time I would try to come up with solutions on how she could do things, because I was really concerned, but I wasn't trying to send money, because there was also a part of me who knew she was lying, because she had been doing this for years. you know? And it's like, I can't just be in a predicament. I'm in LA myself and stuff is high. I can't just be sending you money. I'm working in social services, you know? I can't just be sending somebody money just every month because she don't want to get up and work when she's able-bodied. And how you gonna be starving and you like 350 pounds? Excuse me, I wasn't the smartest in math, but I'm gonna assume that you are not lacking in any food or calories, okay? So they pull all kind of stunts to try to get you away from your money. You know, like I said, she used to try to pretend when we were on that family plan that because my sister had used up all the minutes, this one was back in the day, that I used the phone after her and now I was responsible for paying all the money. It was always something that was responsible on me. Like, I was foolish by getting student loan checks at the time and telling them I got them. And as soon as I got the money, here they come. This money was for me to save over the months so I could get back and forth on the train, have gas if I decided to drive to school, pay my rent. I was always in a bad situation because I was foolish in letting them know I had the money. So they were constantly begging for the money. They would never give me my money back on time. So now my bills were late because I'm waiting for them to now piece me back my money. I had already like given them the ability to pay me like in 3 installments, but 3 installments would go to like 20 installments because they never would. And my mother would always call with a sob story. As soon as I get my check, you know, your sister need a new car. You know, that one she got ain't well. I wish I could loan her the money, but I just really don't have it to loan. And she would always do this on the phone. It got so bad, I started learning in the, when I was still in grad school, living in the Midwest, what she was doing. So she would be on the phone talking about needing money, this and this and this. And I used to jump in, oh, I got it. Oh, let me send it to you, because that's what they want. They want you to jump in and rescue them, because a lot of them, they do that to pretend that they're weak and vulnerable so they can get your money. And I stopped doing it. I would just listen. I'm like, oh, man, that's unfortunate. Oh, wow. I'm sure she'll figure it out. Oh, yeah. Oh, that sucks. So she finally got upset with me and said, when she was talking about something to try to get me to give some money without saying it, she stopped her routine and was just like, Samyra, this is the point where you're supposed to say you're going to take care of it. Oh, excuse me? Yeah. And because I wouldn't do it, my sister, who was being a flying monkey, called me like a day later and was like, Mommy needs some money. And she said, you didn't offer it. I said, if she needs something, she needs to ask directly and stop coming up with all of these stories trying to get me to give her money. My sister, in a typical flying monkey fashion, well, you know she ain't gonna do that. And so you should just, if you got it, you should just offer. What? Do you see how toxic these people are? You know, and I'm like, really? Seriously? I think my sister was still in high school and she was already trained, you know, to be toxic like that. I'm like, okay. And so that's what they do. They do anything to get you out of their money. So it's not even always the truth. It's really survival of the fittest, I heard somebody say with them. And that's totally right. I think that was Victoria Hunter. You should check her out on YouTube. She's really a great narcissist expert, and she talks about spiritual things as well. Victoria Hunter on YouTube. But yeah, it's really survival of the fittest for them. Like, they totally will do anything that they can do so they don't have to do. Some of them are lazy, and not all of them, but they don't want to do a lot. They want to be in a position of where, excuse me for changing this around, where you're taking care of them financially, that, excuse me, you're doing everything for them so they can sit around like the lazy king or queen while they have you, the flunky, serving them and taking care of them, catering to all their needs. So they will totally exploit you financially if you allow them to. Like, for instance, if I had allowed myself, excuse me, to fully get pulled back into whatever negativity was going on with my mother and stuff, do you know, I already know they would have been trying to milk me for money. It would have been like, oh, she needs this for the doctor. Oh, she's going to have this CAT scan, this MRI. Oh, we're going to need nurses. Oh, we're going to need this. Oh, we're going to need that. There is no way that I was about to get pulled back into all that type of stuff. And that's all that they want you to do. Like somebody said, just to trap you so they can take advantage of your money. And then also, when you're gone from the relationships, the one way to stay healthy is not going back into those relationships. Why? Because if you walked away from these people, understand that their mission was always to destroy you. But it's really, really, really to destroy you. Because they look at you like they're somehow superior to you. And how dare you think enough of yourself to walk away from their dusty, trifling, evil behavior and think you were good enough not to be misused and abused repeatedly by these people. Baby, their mission is to pay you back. Because they're like, wow, we tried to destroy you. You still thriving. You may be married. They may not be. Your kids may be doing well in school or entrepreneurship, whatever it is. They see they haven't crushed you and you left them. Their goal is to bring some type of pain to you, whatever it is, so they can get back at you. Yeah, you may come back. And yes, they will pay you back for leaving. You better believe it. Yeah, you may come back and it may be good just for a little bit. Why? Because they need to trick you all over again. They got to make you think it's all good. It's all sweet. Oh, thank you for coming back. You know? Oh, thank you. But then you better believe their mind is already calculating. How can I get this heifer back for walking out? The heck she thought she was, blocking me on Facebook, making me go to all these flying monkeys and tell them all these lies and craziness and get them on my team to go fly after her and try to bring her back. I've been working and working to get my monkeys after her for the last 10 years and she been ignoring me. She left me. I'm better than her. I'm better than him. I was supposed to leave them. I was supposed to make them grovel at my feet and beg to come lick the crusty toe jam out my fingers and feet. And they left me first. Baby, you better understand this is a wicked spiritual battle, honey. They after you. That they hate you for leaving. And they want you back. You know? That's how I realized it was a wicked spiritual battle. You know, believe what you want. But because they all came after me again the same time. Even the crazy friend I hadn't talked to like 2016 or 15, yeah, came back calling, knowing about my mom. What? The narc aunt called this girl in California. No, good and well we don't deal because they're family and they talk all the time. She know the narc aunt know good and well. She live in Connecticut. She calling the narc who she know I don't deal with out here. Yes, the demons will unite. Yes, rebounded from narcissistic abuse. She called the narc that's out here. They on 2 different coasts. What, 3 hours apart, working together, trying to come together. I got family in the Midwest. I'm in LA, minding my business. And they on different coasts, plotting, trying to get me back into the craziness. And it's like, nah, I fell for it for a few times in the DM. I fell for it for a few times, but what I am happy about, not once did I break my no contact though with my mother. I said no. I didn't call. Oh, how is she? Man, she'd have ate that up. Get the heck out of here. Get the heck out of here. Until she passed away, ain't nobody gonna convince me she ain't make that up to try to get me back, to bring me back into the fold of the craziness. But that old Samyra, she used to know that when no contact in, what was that, 2015, she don't live here no more. See, you know, some of that they don't, and I think some of them watch the channel, and I know they do. They watch the channel and they think, oh, she talking that stuff to these people, but we really know her. So we're going to try to get her back and see, make sure we know she still is stupid. I don't care what she tell these YouTubers on TellSamyra. We know she's still gullible. She still ain't going to have no boundaries. She still going to let us get her out her money. talk to her crazy, all kind of crazy things. Let me see. Dark Dahlia says, close friends cause me to break no contact. Then one of those same friends gaslight me. Yeah, thanks for being truthful about that. That's what it is. They will. They'll use anybody they can to get back at you. They make up lies. Mother's about to die. She ain't dead yet. All kind of stuff. Yeah, had to go back, no contact. Sometimes we have to do that. We have to go back. We're not gonna always get it, perfect. We're not. Sometimes we gotta fall and then, get right back up. And close friend has been put on probation. Yeah. And that's why I said that's one part of the healing. Not trying to get these friends to understand, because they won't. I can't tell you how many times I've tried to tell a friend about what's going on to only be gaslighted. Or is it gaslighted, gaslit? I don't know. Y'all know what I'm talking about. And I don't think the friend meant any wrong. I just think that we're living in a society where people worship mothers and they can't fathom that not all of us have a good parent. Excuse me, there was a John Wayne Gacy. If he had kids, somebody was his kid, the Unabomber. He probably had kids. Jeffrey Dahmer, don't know if he ever had any kids. There is some really wicked, some evil folk out here that have done some crazy things, and some of us just happen to be their kids. I don't care if your mom was great. We didn't have the same mom. So a friend that's trying to tell me, oh, people get into it with their mom. Sometimes that's just what happened. Yes. People do get into it with their parents sometimes. Not everybody is going to have a great relationship, but there is a difference between getting into it with a normal, regular parent versus a narcissist or a toxic parent. It is not the same, and nobody can tell me it is the same. A person may have a controlling, nosy person as a parent, and they may deal with that, and it may be uncomfortable, yeah. But it's not a reason to just cut the parent off. On the other hand, those of us that had these parents, these people rejoice at our downfall. These people go behind our back and do crazy stuff. These people actively try to sabotage us. These people despise us and treat us worse than any enemy on the street. This is not the same than just having a nosy, somewhat controlling mom or father who you just be like, oh, that's my little parent, and you get over it and you move on. This is not the same. And so these people will never understand you, and they will gaslight you because they think you're making a big deal out of nothing. And you're telling them what's going on, but some part of them don't want to hear because they don't believe it can truly be that bad. Because they've been brainwashed to think, well, every parent loves their kid, even if it's just arguments. Every parent loves. No, every parent does not love their child. I don't know where we got that from. Some parents are negative. They're in competition with their kids. They want to see their kids fail because they don't want the kids to do better than them, to surpass them. And so that kind of stuff happens. So no, it's not all good with every relationship. And some people tell you, well, you just need to get over it. Maybe you're hurt. This is why I'm saying a part of healing from narcissistic abuse and any type of abuse is shielding yourself from these people who are saying this stuff from you. And if you do find that these are well-meaning friends, but they don't understand narcissism and they're unknowingly gaslighting you, to set those boundaries up with the people. And if they don't respect it, consider stepping away from that relationship, even though it may hurt you. Because who wants to step away from a close friend? There may be some sadness there, some anger there. Nobody wants to be there. Yeah, the who hurt you. People will say that, they will start blaming you. And to set them boundaries with the friend to say, hey, we don't agree about my parents' situation or my narc situation. It could be you could have had a narc lover, husband, whatever it is. We don't agree, but I like you as a friend, and I'd hate for us to lose our friendship. But in order for us to stay friends, this is a conversation that is off limits. We can talk about any other thing, but this right here is off limits, and I need you to respect that. Because if you can't respect that, our relationship is not going to be the same. However you want to say it that makes sense for you. Because like I said, sometimes these people don't know, and sometimes they do know. Like, I've had a lot of them tell me, oh, that's nothing. You're just, thank you. I will state that well worded. Thank you, Dark Dahlia. But yeah, because These people, they'll just be like, oh, you should just get over it. You know, who hurt you? Oh, you're hurt. Sometimes, and yeah, you could be hurt, but it's like when you think about it, you know what I'm saying? So I'm not around here thinking about my mama. A lot of times I don't even remember I got one unless it just be brought up or something. And like I said, I do these videos to help other people. So it's not like I'm doing it because it's hurting me and I'm just around thinking about this all day. She don't pay no bills here. I ain't thinking about that. Why? Because I've come to the conclusion that it is what it is. I've had my cries. I've had my breakdowns. I've screamed in the church. Like I said, believe what you want. A woman had come to me and I was just did the no contact and was very hurt. This is why I said you have to embrace these feelings that come along with that. There's hurt, there's sadness. Nobody wants to cut off their parents, you know, and it's like these people don't get it. How hard it is to realize that your parent hates you. Nobody comes to that conclusion easily. We all want to be loved, cherished, supported by our family members, especially the people that birthed us, no matter how old we are. So for a person to say that they had to cut off their parent lets me know that there was a lot of debate and turmoil, sadness, anger, grief that went on with that decision. Nobody that I know just wakes up overnight and be like, yeah, my parents sucks and I'm just like out. No, you spent a lot of years dealing with this person's bad behavior. They repeatedly let you know they don't care about you. They repeatedly shown you that they love your siblings better than you and that they hate you. They rejoice at your downfall, and you have put up with this for years upon years. They've sabotaged your relationship. They've done everything they could do to make your life hell. So you didn't just wake up one day and just say, to hell with them. Oh, no, you didn't do that. Samyra, I was the same way. I'm reading this and came to accept the cold, hard truth about my parent. Yes, and it is a cold, hard truth. Like I said, I was at the church service and I was trying to get validation from somebody because I couldn't find anybody. This is how much mental turmoil I was in, because everything in me was like, leave these people alone. They don't love you. But I kept thinking, this is my mother. What do you mean? I'm talking to myself. You know what I'm saying? What do you mean she don't love you? She had you. Life was good for the first 5 years. It was great. She was the best mother in the world. I mean, like, you know, I guess a part of me was hoping to go back to birth to 5, and it never would happen, you know. So I'm like, no, somebody has to tell me that this is right, because everybody I go to is saying basically, get over it, shush, don't tell the ugly secret. What goes on in your house stays there. Humble yourself. Don't dare speak evil about your mom. Whatever she did, suck it up. Be a good Christian. Forgive, but hush your mouth. Don't you dare speak on it. Shush. Deal with it in silence. Don't tell us because we got problems of our own. We really don't want to hear, because we can't bear it ourselves. And then if we do bear it, we got to admit that our parents was hellish and crazy and toxic too. But we don't want to do that because society doesn't support you with that, and they'll shun you and think something's wrong with you. So shush, Samyra. Don't say it, Samyra. Just be quiet. Stop speaking. And I finally went to a church service, and it was this woman who had identified herself as a prophet, and she was the speaker, and she asked us to come pray. And I told her, and I said, you know what, I'm really battling, because I everything in me, and I truly believe I need to let go of my mother, but it is so hard. And that woman, she didn't know me. She was a visitor at this church. She says, your family has hurt you and has gained up against you. She said, but one day, she said, Samyra, you're going to make it and they're going to come back. She said, you're going to be so successful and your name is going to be known. She said, they're going to come back to you. She said, but they did you wrong. She said, just don't hold no bitterness against them. And that woman laid her hands on me and to pray, and something came over me, God. And I'm telling you, when I be at the church, I'm not the one trying to shout and jump around, because I'll be like, I ain't about to be looking crazy. That's what I'll be thinking. So I'm saying this because you don't know me, but I'm telling you about me. I'll lift my hands. I may cry tears, but that's about it. You know, I ain't trying to make no scenes and jumping and shouting and falling on the floor, because you know I'm big and I ain't trying to be getting up off the ground. Anywho, that woman laid hands on me and something came over me. It was the power of God. And it was like the hugest scream came out of me, and I couldn't stop screaming. And at that point is when I was grieving the loss of my mother. So this is why I say we need to talk about the feelings attached with leaving these relationships, because that was pain. It was like something in my gut. It was a pain there that I had to release, because I had come to the conclusion and accepted that this relationship was not what I wanted with anyone, and this relationship with my mother and family would never be what I needed to be. And at that moment, I had to grieve that, to release that sorrow, that anger, all of everything that was there. And I had gotten the confirmation that I needed, that I was on the right path, because going into the church and having people talk to me, I not only had toxic family making me think that this relationship I needed to stay in, I had the church telling me I needed to stay in this. And so I didn't want to please, I didn't want to make God unhappy. And this was my own misunderstanding of scripture. And I had the family guilt. I had what I assumed was God guilt. And this woman helped me understand that what I was doing was right. And once I was able to have a clearer thought, because whatever it was, when she laid hands to pray for me, it released something in me, and it allowed me to be able to see more clearly. And scripture, when I read them now, makes sense. Like, I look at it and it's like that guilt of doing something wrong with God is no longer there, because I can see the scripture saying that when your parents forsake you, I will lift you up. Meaning that God will take me and hold me and give me the strength I need, because my parents have forsaken me. Not only my mother, but my father disappeared when I was 6, told me he had forgotten my birthday, and he came around a few days later, still didn't know it was my birthday. I had to tell him. He had on a Michael Jackson jacket. And I was like, ooh, I want one in red. He had the black one. And he was like, okay. That was the last time I saw him. Now, you imagine how traumatic that had to be. I'm 43 now. I was 5. I will never forget that day. We were in the kitchen. I thought the man was coming back with my jacket. Never heard from this man again. So that scripture comforts me, because he said when they forsaken you. He didn't say when they die that God would take care of you. He said forsaken. So apparently these were parents that were still alive, but they have done something to forsake their kids, cast their kids away, treated them unfairly, that God will take care of you. And also when I looked about when Jesus, when he was somewhere and all the people were rushing him and around him, and he was there ministering, and his disciples came to him and they said, Master, don't you know your mother and your brothers are right out here? They're trying to get at you. They need to get in here. They want to talk to you. And he said, my mother and my brother are those that do the will of God. Saying, and how I took that was, just because somebody got a label don't mean nothing. Of course, we knew he loves his mother Mary, but he was also saying, who is my family? Really my family? It's not about a title, or whose vagina or whose sperm have created me, or who goes by the name of cuz and auntie and this and this. Is who does the will of God. And what I mean by that, who is showing me love? Who is showing me, like it says in the Bible in Galatians, the fruits of the Spirit? Who is showing me love? Who is showing me respect? Who is showing me patience? Who is showing me gentleness? Who is showing me any type of kindness? Those are the people I resonate with, like you all, who comment on the video, who are vulnerable enough to share some of the hellish things that you've gone on. That is my family. So I try to get rid of those labels that no longer serve me, because people will have you trapped in a cage, be talking about blood is sticking in water, this, and this, but they're treating you like crap, and they want you to be okay with that. Let me read this comment. I also grieve the relationship that I hoped for, but was never going to have with my mother. So when she died, it was just the end of that part of my life. Thank you for sharing that, Angela. And it's like, yeah, and that hurts to have to grieve something, especially when the person is alive, and it's like, okay, I'm not going to push those feelings away, because I think once we start stifling and denying these feelings, that anger is there, that sadness may be there, that anxiety about whatever is going on. Did you make the right decision? Did you make the wrong one? It's like those things get worse, and then you find yourself sitting across from somebody like me trying to process those feelings. And it's like, no, it's okay to have a range of emotions because you decided to leave this type of relationship. But the most important thing is to protect yourself. Like I said, you know, and also another way you protect yourself as far as healing is, I've talked about this in other videos, finding things that you like, things that make you happy. Like for me, coming into writing was a shock for me because I was always raised to think that was nothing special about me. I was told that I was average all the time. I had no qualities, no good, and I was told, oh, where did you come from, Samyra? I have this gift. I can sew, I can knit, I can do this, and your sisters can do this. Where did you come from? Acting is like she ain't have sperm to create me. It's like you took two of y'all to make me, not just you. And that's that narcissistic thing right there. They need to see their own reflection when they look at you. It's like, well, you did have somebody else to make, that you made it with to get me. So, yeah, of course I'm not going to be like you in a full way. You know, no sense of biology or whatever it's called at all. You know, that narcissism is something else. But anyway, it's like, I forget where I was going with that. Oh, yeah, finding what you're good at. And so for years, I thought that I had no talents, but I've always liked to read. And one thing I will say about my mom, see, one thing about me, I can say what's good about somebody that I think is good, and also the negative. Like, I was the only child up until about five years old. She read to me constantly, and I'll never forget that. And I mean, I love that about her. Constantly read to me, had books in the house. I had libraries. She had library shelves. So I was always seeing books and being told, like, even older, if I didn't know a word, go look it up in the encyclopedia. And at the time, it was frustrating. But later, I came to appreciate that because she wasn't just, excuse me, allergies, wasn't giving me the answers. I had to look up stuff. I had to research things, you know. So I like that. And because of the love of books around for me, I was prayed for constantly at night. You know, this is why I say I know it was a spiritual thing, because when my sisters came, all that stopped. But I feel like God sort of set me up on the right foundation up until I was 5, because he had other plans for me before the things went crazy. But I was constantly praying for all kind of stuff like that. And so the love of books was always there. And it was just one day in my 30s that I was like, man, I would like to write my own book, you know. And I started writing. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't go on no channels to figure it out, YouTube or nothing. I just started writing. And you may have something that's within you that you want to do. Maybe something that you were good at, or something that you really liked that attracted you as a kid. Trying to find out those things. What was that you really enjoyed? Maybe trying to pick that up. And a lot of times we want to be perfect at it. I want to get it right. I don't want to embarrass myself. Do you know how many times I had to redo this one? I should have worn a curtain. Because it's a short story. That's what a novella is. It's shorter than a novel, but longer than a short story. I paid people to edit the book, and it still had grammar issues, because grammar is not my strong thing. It ain't, y'all. It ain't. But I paid people twice, and it was still problems. I republished it twice. It was still problems. And I had too much backstory in it, meaning it's a short book, and it shouldn't be a lot of the character's history. It should be the present and moving forward to the future, if that makes sense. And I did it. And I finally paid some people to tell me, what did I do wrong in the book? They told me that, and I was like, oh, I got it. Even one person that's called a beta reader. They read your book before it's published and give you feedback. This last round, this is my 3rd publication, and this is the last one, because this book is finally perfect how I like it. Perfect how I like it, I'll say. And the beta reader was like, wow, I never gave somebody feedback, and a week later they fixed everything. He's like, usually it takes them a while, and usually they don't get it right. He was like, but you took the suggestions on, you know, thank you so much, Rebounding from Narcissistic Abuse. You took all that backstory out, and you incorporated it in a different way, and you moved the story forward instead of going backwards. And so now the reviews that I do have on it is positive. Nobody's talking about the grammar. Even somebody made a video about it, y'all, and mentioned the grammar. I was so embarrassed. But then a part of me was like, you don't know how much money I paid to actually have that done. And it's like, even when I checked it, because my grammar is not great, I thought it read right to me because my grammar not great. So that's another reason why it was a problematic. I'm approving and paying them, tipping these people, and turns out it was still wrong. But I finally found some people now who got it together. But you know what my thing is, and so I say that to say part of healing is finding your passion, finding something you're good at. If you don't get it right, like Aaliyah say, dust yourself off and try again. This is my third time, and I'm, you know, at first I was embarrassed to say that, but it's like, no, because I respect my name and I want what's out on Amazon about my books to be right. You know, the other books you can see them, but you can't like purchase them unless somebody else is selling them because they bought one and they're selling them. But like I can say now with pride, I finally paid the right people, because it was done before. Some people publish their stuff and don't have nobody edit. That is not what I did, even though it seemed like it because it was the grammar problems. But I paid, okay? So, but yeah, I got that done, even with this. So now I said, okay, I know I need beta readers, people that read it and review it before it's even published. And that's when I came up with this one. And then it's like, I took all the feedback I got that people left me and I put it together, you know. And I didn't think I would ever be able to write a novel, because if you could see, this is novella, this is short. And compared to this one, you see the difference? See the difference? Yeah, see? And I was able to do that, but it took a lot of trial and error. So I say that to say, what do you like? Also, finding your fun. One thing that keeps me alive and really fun is being able to work with kids. Like, they come to my office a few times a week. We're dancing. You know, I only know 90s stuff, so y'all can email me or put it in the comments below. Some fun songs for kids these days. They like 4 and up. 4 and up to like 10. So not no little shark song, maybe a few of those, but some other bigger stuff. So I've been taking them back to the 90s, and we've been in there crisscross making the jump. Another bed creation, if you know these groups, we in there whipping our hair back and forth with Willow Smith. You know, I mean, they love that one. Some of them don't speak English well, because we get a lot of Spanish clients. This is LA. And I'd be like, what do you want to sing? What song you want to sing? And they just start whipping their hair back and forth. You know, the ones that don't know English good. So I just put that on, and I forget about the language barrier. They do too. And we have fun. So even if you don't have the kids around you, putting on some fun stuff in your home, going paintball shooting, going go-kart riding, something that takes you back to that childlike state, because that is a part of the healing. You know, sometimes as adults, I think we get too focused on being serious. Like, for instance, I threw a party for the kids. We finally learned how to use the big TV at work, and in the library it was there, and we just made a party. It was somebody's birthday, and I brought all the parents, and they just on the side of the wall all shy. Now I can't dance either, and I get shy like if it's all adults, but these were the kids, and we were having fun. And you know, I had to have the parents, come on, just try to whip your hair, do something. They looking. It's hard for them to play Barbies with the kids or to do anything, get on the ground and be interactive with the kids. And I get it, because they're going through leaving domestic violence, they're homeless, that could be a lot on them too. But I see that a lot. Even somebody posted online like, have we forgotten how to play? So that's a part of it. Getting out a card game you used to like. Was it Uno? Was it Skip-Bo? Doing things that used to bring you joy. That's going to help you move past these things, you know? Also, and thank you all for hanging in here. I really appreciate it. And also learning to keep some things to yourself. Like, for instance, you're going out on dates or whatever, you're meeting new people. If you have a history of attracting a narcissist, chances are these people, new people you meeting, are narcissists. I'm not saying that to scare you. I'm saying that to say, just be cautious. Give people a chance before you start giving them all your backstory, to see them in situations that you know, where they may get angry, because this is when you're going to see really what this person is made of. You know, even if you have to get this person upset about something kind of minor, but knowing that it will make them upset, just to see how they react when they get upset, that'll let you know. So you ain't got to wait forever, you know. But you want to see these people, like, how do they talk about other people that they say they love and their friends and whatever? How do they treat these people? And I say that because a lot of times when I see with women, they will just meet a man or something and be out there telling them they whole trauma history. Like, for instance, be out there like, yeah, I was in a DV relationship for the last 5. He took all my money and I can't stand him. He was doing other hoes and he gave me this disease and, you know, and took my car. And do you know? If you're out with somebody, you don't know this person. Yes, you want to, does this go for new female? Oh, heck yeah, that's a good question. Does this go for new female relationship? Yeah, I can't tell you all the narc female friends I've had. They treat you, it's just like almost like a men romantic relationship. These narc females, they will love bomb you. They will pretend that they've even gone through trauma that matches your trauma. For what is that they call it now? Trauma bonding. You know, so these people will listen to your history and they'll start lying. They'll be like, oh yeah, my family is the same way. My dad, he did that. My dad was a narcissist too. You know, they watching YouTube too. You watching it to keep yourself out of these relationships and they watching it to get better. Come on. So they know the language just like you know the language. Don't think just because you found somebody who know narcissism and love bombing and covert narcissism, overt narcissism, and know Dr. Ramani, her name. Don't think you found somebody compassionate and empathetic. You may have a dang old narc. They training. You don't think they getting better with the use of the internet? Their goal is to eat those alive they think is weak. And who wouldn't go to YouTube to learn how to devour their prey? Come on. You over here getting stronger. You think they're not watching too? And making videos and acting like they redeem narcissists so they can grow YouTube channels and get your money because they know how to play you. They know what you want to hear. You want to hear the narcissist tell you how to survive and why they do what they do, but they ain't telling you that diagnosis is hard to change, and usually they stay that way for life unless there's some strong miracle of the Lord. You know, because even with therapy, because they seldom go to therapy, they want to make you think that everything's good. No, they still a narcissist, okay? But anyway, but yeah, telling these people all your life story and stuff, and you think I'm showing them I'm authentic, I'm genuine, I'm in touch with my emotions, and I'm not afraid to say it. I'm gonna show you something. That narc, they probably ain't taking notes on actual paper, but you telling them stuff. DV, they keep an account of it. DV, abuse. Okay, let me keep that to remember. Oh, abandon. Oh, let me write that down too. They remembering all this stuff to use it against you in an argument, or to see how they can not beat you up, but to get over on you. Cause you know what? If you tell me this, yeah, they study you. Because if you tell me, let's say if I wanted to be a toxic individual, I think I'd be great at it, actually. I would. You should, if you look at my books, I write narcissist is good. And I have to thank Mother for that. Thank you. You got to learn how to make money off these people, honey. These toxic people and I've switched up some stuff and names and all kind of stuff. Not the whole book, a lot of it's made up, but I have taken some situations. Somebody told me, oh my God, you wrote about a narcissistic male. Good. Yes, I know narcs. I know them, you know. But yeah, so if I wanted to be toxic, and let's say if I'm a man and I was going out with this woman and she starts telling me, oh my God, my last guy, he was beating me up. He took my money. He took my car. He molested my child. He did this. Oh my God, my life is horrible. He said I was fat. He said I was ugly. One thing I already know. I'm going to come in and love bomb this woman. She don't feel good about herself. Last dude wasn't nice to her. So if I show her any type of little affection, she gonna be doing all over. I'm gonna have her bending all over, touching her toes, doing all kind of stuff. She's already had somebody who wasn't close to her children. So if I'm a pedophile, I'm like, it's a chance that I could probably get into the kids too. because she already got a history of letting somebody, not letting, but having her child in that environment. So I could probably do it too. Oh, she allows people to take her car. So if I'm a Dusty and I want your car and ain't got my own and stuff, I'm gonna be like, oh yeah, she worked, good. I'm gonna have her go to work. I'm gonna wake up early. I'm gonna drop her off, and I'm gonna have her car around and have me some other hoes while she working. You know. Oh, and she was financially abused. Oh, let me work it in and ask her when she get paid. So around payday, I'm gonna make up some sob story of how I need some money, and I'm gonna make sure I'm gonna get some money from her so I can drive her car, go pick up my hose, put some gas in her car, and come back and pick her up. And then I'm gonna come back late because apparently she got bad boundaries. She said she was with dude for 5 years, so she may be trying to get smarter. So I can probably pull this off with her for maybe 3.5, 4 years. She done told me everything. Trying to be impressing somebody. That the only people that's impressed with all that type of history is somebody that's looking to get over on you. This is so sad to know people think like this. Yeah, it is. That's all. Because somebody that's healthy don't even want to know all your trauma like that on the first day. Because first of all, they don't even know if they like you like that. And they probably, they don't even know, maybe haven't decided if they even want to come back for a second date. Same thing with a friend. You done told all this information. If somebody told me that in the past because I was so caught up in my trauma and so messed up, I would have clung to them. But I wasn't the healthiest person at the time. Not that I was using people, but I wasn't just healthy mentally. I couldn't stop talking about trauma. So I wasn't the best person to have to be on the phone with, honestly. All my old friends, I mean, sorry, but I was where I was at. I can look back on it now and be like, oh God, couldn't have been the easiest friend to be with. Good God. But anyway, but now if I even met somebody that's a female friend and she came to the first day, first week, and all she talking about, my mom left us and put us in foster care and this happened and this happened. The first thing I'm thinking, heck nah. I can't be a friend with you because you still in a place of pain. You sounding like a client, and I don't say that to be mean, but I say that to be because when I'm working with somebody in therapy, it's totally different from me working, having a friendship with somebody. And I'm totally empathetic and understanding when I'm in the therapy role, but I don't want to have to hear that if I'm outside of therapy because I want to be able to let my hair out, maybe have some fun and talk about some fun things. And I don't want to feel like, oh God, you know, I'm at work, you know. And then by me being a therapist, then I also got to wonder, are you trying to get free therapy? Is that why you telling me all this? So, you know, my antenna's coming up, so I'm like, no. No, because I've been there before with bad boundaries and would meet people, like go to the gym. This happened to me years ago, and the girl was like, what do you do? And I was like, oh, I'm a therapist. I try not to tell people that now. I mean, y'all is different, but in like outside of social media, I try not to tell people that. And because the girl was like, next thing I know, I would see her and she come get by me and I'm on my treadmill and she's like telling me all kind of stuff about her dude. Constantly, why is he doing this? Why is he doing that? Why? I'm thinking, I said I was a therapist. I didn't say I read, what is that? Magic. I didn't say I had magic. I can't tell you why somebody's doing something that I haven't met. She kept doing this, and somebody told me, because I told somebody at the job at the time, like, oh man, it's so hard to be around her. All she talk about is her problems and this her man. And my coworker's like, why are you sitting there letting it happen? If it happens again, put your headphones on and tell her, you know, I come to relax. I don't come to talk about this. And I did. I was it was all like butterflies flying in my stomach because I did not want to be mean. And isn't that funny how we're always so overprotective of other people's emotions and not wanting to be mean when she clearly using me for free therapy? She didn't even know me. Spewing all her trauma out at me and thinking that while we're on the treadmill, she was about to get free therapy. Didn't even offer to tip me. Come on. But I don't want to be mean to her. But she clearly had no respect for me. But anyway, we also, that's another thing about healing. Learning, even though it's hard, to stop caring about being mean to these people that's treating us like crap, who being very mean to us. So I had to let her go. And I told her, I said, you know what, I come to relax and I can't hear this. And I would make sure I got far away from her. during the when I was there at the gym. And this is what I mean by somebody who has maybe healthier boundaries. They don't want to hear your trauma history. Sometimes it's good not to say it. Like, if I'm out with people and these are new people and they're asking me, oh, if it's Mother's Day, even though, you know, I don't celebrate holidays, I only celebrate my birthday. But if somebody were asking me like, oh, what are you doing for Mother's Day? Or how's your mom? How's your family? You know, they're trying to get to know me. You know what I'm like? They're great. And I used to feel bad about that as far as the lying. But my history of attracting narcissists, I am not about to be out here like, and this is the old me would tell people, oh, you know, I don't deal with my mother or my sisters, and I don't do this because my family is toxic, my family is this, and they did me this and did it. The one today, oh, they're great. Like, for instance, I don't know why we still do this. I've been at this place almost 2 years, and every week we have an icebreaker for groups at work. And the icebreaker question was something like, oh, something good you love about your family. And I'm like, see, here they go. Why don't you just come in here and let us do our job? Why is you trying to talk about somebody's family? You don't know what people stand there with people's family. And maybe it's my own trauma history that made me respond that way. But I was like, look, we ain't here to be talking about my family. But what I did do when they got to me, I was like, oh, they're good at social media. But even that wasn't a good one because the people looked at me like I was nuts. I love that suggestion about using the "they're great" line. I would use that. All right, Sweaters in Harmony. I hope that worked out. Got to let us know it over here in this community how it worked for you. But yeah, I was like, and my supervisor was like, they're good at social media. I'm like, yeah, they post on social media, so they're good at social media. But they were like looking for me to go deeper, and what I should have did was lie. But sometimes there's a part of me, even though I did good by not going into the trauma piece, I really do like to be authentic. So I didn't want to like come up with like, oh, you know, like they're really giving and stuff. But a lot of time that's the game. And I think that I would be much far ahead in my in my field if I just played the game, you know. Like, instead of saying that I always say they're doing fine and that's all I say, great, that's a good one. Maybe I should have said, oh my God, you know, they're so loving and they're always there for me when I need them, you know. Maybe something like that, because they were giving me strange looks because I didn't go in deeper, because other people were like, yeah, for holidays we do this and do, and they're like going into detail, and I'm like, they're good at social media. She tried to make me change it. That's another thing about social services. It's like, look, I'm grown. You ain't changing me. You ain't molding me. Go raise your dang on kids. I'm grown over here. I gave you my answer. I'm too old for you to restate it back to me like I didn't understand it. I'm older than you. Leave me alone. I said what I said. Don't care how you like it. Go mind your business and the business that pay you, and stop trying to stifle me and remold me. Yeah. Y'all go help me out by booking a session or buying a book so I can get out of these 9 to 5s. I don't know what it is, y'all. Is it just me? I know I'm going somewhere else, but I don't know what it is. Working, it's like I always working for women. When I worked for a man, I didn't appreciate him enough, and that is the truth. I didn't. I should have appreciated him more. He was just so freaking chill. It's like I work for these women in social services, and it's something about me, y'all. I don't know what it is. Soon as I walk in there, they need to tell me how I need to be, how I need to feel, how I need to think. It's like they always want to remold me, and it always makes me go back to like the thing with the narcissism and growing up with those parents and those friends, how they're like controlling, and they think they know you better than you know yourself, and they just need to tweak you. And so I'm tweaked. I'm already tweaked, honey. I've been put in the oven. I popped out. I've been fluffed up. I am who I am. Don't tweak me, okay? But anyhow, You know, that's just my thing about working with social services, and how the majority of them have personality disorders. And I just don't try to use that loosely. They got personality disorders, and the clients are more sane than anybody else. The folks on the job, especially women, excuse me again, allergies, are nosy and competitive. Yes, they are. Then I make, you know, then I tell anybody who know about me doing books, and then you got to also look at that sometimes that people, when they know you got side hustles outside of the job, they won't like you because of that, because they feel like, oh, you got options maybe. Oh, maybe you speak up for yourself because you may have some other options outside of here. And then the things come up where, like, if they're not doing anything, you know, because and I say this because I was scared to put my books out. I was scared to come on YouTube to do the live. I told you all that. I admitted that. Even when I just did regular YouTube, I was scared. I was like, oh my God, you know, what do people want to think? You know, are they gonna listen? You know, am I saying it right? But you know, all these kind of doubts and things come up, and it's hard to get started. And sometimes people make it look easy, but some of us, you know, do have some anxiety about that type of stuff, being vulnerable, putting ourselves out there, you know. And I think sometimes when you tell other people that you're doing stuff, they always just look at the outcome of it, and they don't see the stuff that you had to do when nobody was looking, staying up all night, maybe reading or writing or doing your book or whatever it is. They don't look at that, and they are competing with you like, oh, well, I don't have anything like this. Who is this person to have something like this? You know, is she going to try to take my job? Is she trying to do this? Do she think she doesn't need my guidance or whatever it is? And then there's always something, you know. And then when you have in social services, especially when you get the supervisors that always have the mental health background, then thank you. I needed to hear that. Thank you, Rosemary. I'm thankful to have you over here. They get that piece of where they try to play mind games with you and gaslight you, and under the guise of that they're helping you develop into a better therapist, you know. But you know that that's a lie, because you were raised by narcissists, or you had narcissist friends, and you're like, yeah, I know when you're playing games with me. And we're going to pretend that you're not, but I'm going to call it out because I don't care. And, you know, and they keep on playing, oh, you know, that's not what I meant. Did you take it? Yeah, I took it like that because that's how you meant it. And it's a dang on shame to have so many therapists and supervisors of therapists that are narcissists. I said it. A lot of them are. Have you ever had a narcissist for a therapist? I know I'm getting off topic, but no, I'm going to make it work into this topic because I want to talk about it, and I hope y'all want to hear. So another way to heal is to vet your freaking therapist before you allow somebody to be your therapist, especially if you have a history of being in narcissistic or toxic relationships, because sometimes you'll get a therapist that has narcissism. Good thing about this video, and not just for me, because you don't have to choose me. I would like you to choose me to be your therapist, but even if you chose someone else, it's good on YouTube now. You can sort of see people and see if you get a good vibe, good little energy from somebody, then that may be the person you want to go with. But back in the day, before I even went no contact, this was years ago, I was living in Sacramento, and I went to this therapist through my job, and I was just telling her about some things I had experienced with my family and everything like that. And I wasn't doing anything fun. And she was like, oh, you should go to a bar, get a drink, just do something. You need to do something other than work, blah, blah, blah. She was right. And she was like, oh, you should try this supplement for something I needed. And I was like, I ordered it immediately. I left her office, I ordered it. She told me about some book because my self-esteem was crashed, and I was like, oh, okay, I get the book. And I would come back and be like, hey, got the supplement, got the book. Oh, did you know there's a bar down the street? Went down there before I went home. Yeah. And my thing was, I was just trying to show her, being another therapist, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna actually be a good client and do what you suggest. Yeah. And I was doing it, killing it. One day I'm talking to the woman, and she suggested something, and I was like, oh, I don't know if I want to do that. And because I had a question about one thing, she was like, Samyra, I didn't want to say this to you before, but I really think I need to say it now. You remind me of like a child who doesn't get their way. I suggest stuff to you and you just turn it, you just disregard it without any type of thought for it or whatever. And it reminds me of like a kid who doesn't get their way. And I just been needing to say that to you, you know. And she started, and I actually was so shocked I blanked out, no lie, because she started saying like other little stuff that she had problems with me, and I had been seeing her like for 2-3 months. I had no idea, but it was like she was puking on me the way she was saying it though, you know. It was like she was trying to tell me that she was intimidated by me and she couldn't say it, but now she was got bold and she was just spilling it all out. Just no concern for me how she was saying it. And I told her eventually when I came back in, because I think that had to do with like growing up with narcissism. That's a way that I guess you call it a coping mechanism, that I would like sort of blank out when stuff got too hard for me. Like I wouldn't faint or nothing. It was just like my mind would go somewhere else and I can't really hear, because it was like, no, I can't be here and I don't have the emotional strength to deal with what's being said to me. And that's what happened. I blanked out. And when I came back in, I remember just saying, but I bought the supplement you told me to buy. I bought the book you suggested. I went to the bar. Like, I don't know where any of this is coming from. And she was like, oh, but you're acting like a little child. And I'm like, okay. So I left that day and my head was spinning. I'm like, oh my God, no, she didn't just say this to me. That there, yeah, she was a psycho narc. I didn't know about narcissism at the time, because when I tell you they didn't teach us about, the only thing they taught us about in grad school about narcissism was basically grandiosity. We didn't have any case studies of narcissism. We barely touched on personality disorder. I only knew what narcissism said in the DSM, the diagnostic manual we use, but I didn't, even though it tells you the traits, doom, 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 I didn't know what that looked like in real life. It's one thing to say, oh, this person lacks empathy. Oh, this person is this and this and this. But what does that actually look like in real life? And I didn't know that. But yeah, so at the time I didn't know she was a narc. But when I started replaying what happened when I learned about narcissism, I was like, oh yeah, she was a narc. And she waited until I was very vulnerable and had trusted her. And I felt that rapport was there, and to throw that at me. And so when I left, and listen to this, because I want to know what you all think, because for me this really solidified that she was a narc. She was going on vacation after that session, so I waited till the next day and just left her a voicemail and said, hey, didn't like what you said to me, it didn't sit well with me, I will not be returning, I'm terminating our relationship. So the next week, when I was supposed to be there to meet with her, it was like 10 minutes after session. She called and she was like, Samyra, it's not like you to be late. I mean, you know, are you coming? And I said, I left you a detailed voice message letting you know that I ended our session. She's like, I never got that. See, that's that narc stuff right there. I know good and well she got that voice message. That's just my belief. She's like, can you tell me again then why you decided to switch? And I said something like, it's on your voicemail, I won't be coming back. Well, she's like, well, wait, well, can we talk about it? I mean, what happened? Like, what do you think? I said, it's on your voicemail. Have a good day. Bye. And hung up. And then I found something online where you can go out and dog your therapist online. Although I would like to say, if I ever meet with any of you all, please let me know if you have a problem and don't post my name up on the on the site. I hate that dang on Samyra. I want my money back. Please, let's have a conversation if you don't want to do it on a live call. You know, because that could be a bit intimidating to tell somebody they suck right on the live call. Like, Samyra, you suck, dude. You know, God, why didn't I go with someone else on BetterHelp? Send me an email, let's talk. But anyway, I went on this site and I left this long thing, everything I just said. I'm like, and she said this, and I was so mad at that woman. I think when I learned narcissism, I went back to find whatever site that was and you could edit it. I was like, and she's a narcissist. So be careful, because I don't know what it is BetterHelp wasn't helpful to me. I can't wait to sign up for therapy with you. Oh, okay, cool. I can't wait to meet with you. Yeah, but I'm gonna say, you know, and even though I know I offer like the same services, I actually saw somebody on BetterHelp. Did I? Yeah, I saw two. One person I didn't really vibe with, but I set my boundaries up front because I already let them know. Because I already know now. I said this. Look. I think, yeah, this was a few years ago. I told the person on BetterHelp, I said, hey, I am no contact with my family. If you have an issue with being no contact and you want to convince me or other people that they should return to those relationships, this will not be a good relationship. Let me know. And she typed back and was like, no, I understand. I said, I don't know what it is for real. I think the older I get, some things where I wouldn't dare say when I was younger, it's like, nah, I'm saying them now. It's like I let her know before the first sessions, where do you stand? Because I'm not about to pay you to be gaslighting me, sweetie. It's one thing to gaslight me. It's another thing for me to pay you to do it. Because, So she understood, but I just felt like it wasn't a connection. I tried someone else, and she was cool too. But I think this was like the start of COVID, and the main job I had, I was working as a behavior specialist for children, and it was school. So that got cut out totally, and I was only working part-time as a therapist at that time. And so I didn't have enough money to be doing that. It was things were too uncertain here. And I was like, nah, I'm not about to, I had to end my therapy with her. But she was cool. The only thing though is like she wanted me to have more friends. And I don't know, you all gotta let me know what you think about this. I want to make a video about this because when I was younger, it was like I used to think that I wasn't okay if I didn't have a certain amount of friends. But the older I get now, I don't think that way because I don't know. I think it's because of me, the type of people and the lack of boundaries I used to have of me meeting those narcs, female friends. And it was like, I just wasn't meeting quality people. So it's like, where are all these quality people at? These people like, oh, I got this friend and we're going out for drinks and we're doing this and we're doing this. I'm like, they ain't toxic. They ain't got a personality disorder. I don't know, y'all. I could be tripping. It could just be me. But this woman just found it strange that I didn't have all these options and stuff. And I was like, look, I have stuff that I do, and I'm happy with that. But she wasn't happy with it. She wanted me to have more. And so it was okay. Even though she was cool, I kind of felt that it was good because my thing is that I feel like this, like a therapist can suggest something and maybe bring it up every now and again, but it ain't going to be every conversation. And then I'm not about to pay you and we about to be talking about friends, and that's not my issue. That's your issue. So if you want to pay me so we can talk about what you think is an issue, that's cool, but no. And that's why I do tell people who see me, like, how do you want to use your time? Because I never want to impose my own thoughts. Now, if people come to me and they don't have nothing to talk about, I hate to sit in silence. So I'm going to bring up something. Be like, hey, is this good? Because you ain't telling me nothing. So you want to talk about this? Meaning, like, people who usually see me repeatedly. And that's cool, but it's like, you're not going to force a topic on me. Like, I don't know, guys. Am I missing out? Y'all got a whole bunch of cool, healthy friends. They sane. They ain't got personality disorders. Let's see. I say go for Sweaters in Harmony. I say, why does your... I think you comment on my videos quite a bit, which is a great thing, I'm saying. Because I'm like, your name, I feel like for some reason I know you. I don't know why. Maybe, I think, I don't know. Do I know you from Twitter? Or no, you comment over here. That's what it is. Help me out, Sweaters in Harmony. I say go for quality over quantity when it comes, I'm still learning how to do this, comes to company. It's okay to be picky. Evelyn, I don't have a lot of friends and I'm good with that. Okay. Because I'm telling you, some people, they act like, yes, ma'am, you're right. Okay, cool. Thank you. Because I'm like, I know that name. I know it. All right. That's not an easy name to forget either. That's a really name that stands out. I've taken a recent review of all my past and current friendships and realized that they were all trauma bond originated. Okay, see? Not healthy, because if we're not at our healthiest state, how can we possibly choose people that's really healthy around us, you know? So recently I spring cleaned my contact list. See, you have to do that. And I think in order to get better, because it's like, I'm not who I used to be years ago. So whoever I was friends with, you know, they knew the me that was traumatized and that was constantly talking about that. The me now does not desire to talk about that with people. Like, why? Because if anybody, like I said, people that are really healthy, and they don't want to be hearing about your trauma. They may smile and nod, then you wonder, why has this person ghosted me? Why aren't they calling me back? Why do I only get that one day? They don't want to hear about that. They don't want to know how Pookie and Tom Tom stole your money and your rent and your mama's rent, and you allowed it to happen for 6 years. They don't want to hear about that. So that's why I said, when you meet these new people, and this is just me, you may think something different. You tell me what you think in the comments. It's not letting on to that, pretending that it is all good, you know. Oh, and then, no, most people have issues. You're fortunate if you have 1 or 2 good friends in your life. I have some very good acquaintances, yeah, and I that resonates with me. You know, being younger, I had a lot of friends, and I'm grateful that I did, but that has totally that's totally changed now. But when I tell people that, and I think that's something I don't even want to tell people now. Yeah, the reason I don't is because even some people, and it's sad that we live in this type of world, you know. I'm listening to me and I'm like, dang, I sound paranoid. But it's like, no, I sound like somebody who's dealt with some craziness and continue to see craziness in this world. Like, even telling people that you don't have friends, like if you're meeting people on the streets and they see you, even it can be dangerous even in your apartment complex. If people just see just you, it makes you stand out like a target. There's some people, they're predators that will target you because they think you, excuse me, that you're by yourself and you don't have anyone. So I think from now on, I'll start telling people, oh, yes, I have a great friend group, and we go this way and we go that way, you know, if they just must know something. If they want a story, let's give them one, okay? If you want to know. I had a boss like that. She had problems, too. This was years ago. I was like, I wasn't doing much, and I was okay with it, you know, not having a lot of friends. I had some people I was associated with in my complex, you know, and we would do dinners and stuff like that, but it wasn't like close friends, and I was spending a lot of time alone, which I was okay with. But apparently she wasn't okay with it when she would ask me, like, for the weekend, oh, what'd you do? I'm like, oh, got a movie. For this was at the library or whatever I did, got some books, stuff that I actually liked doing. And then I noticed she started telling me, oh, you should go here, you should go there. And then I was always like, oh, no, you know, okay. And I would go on about my life not thinking anything of it. And one day, I guess she got tired of me not accepting her unsolicited advice and raised her voice at me. She's like, Samyra, you just need to do something with your life because I've been telling you this and this you should do. I said, you've been telling me about going to, like, what is these voter nerd clubs? I don't know, that whatever it was, wasn't into it, some kind of voting clubs or something. And I said, I didn't think you were telling me that because you thought I was about to do it. She was like, well, why else would I have been telling you that? And I'm like, man, see, this is what I mean, these people. This is what I'm like, it's kind of hard, you know. Not that I be around here lying to people all the time, but it's just saying sometimes I have to have a lie or two in my pocket because these people, I mean, they're crazy. Like, oh, you just need more, you need to do this, you need to do that. It's like, no, you need to mind your business because who the heck asked you what I need to do, you know? Right, like you need a mama, you know? That was her whole thing. It's like, nah, what I need you to do is stay out my business. Make sure you get my check cut on time and sign the thing and give it to me and do your life. Am I doing my job here? That's the only thing that needed to be said, but they don't get it. That reminds me of like some of these people. The reason why I was saying some people need to be cut out of my life, you know, is because they come around and just start giving you all this unsolicited advice. Oh, you're gonna regret it if your mom or dad dies and you didn't make it right. And then they start telling you how they regretted it, and it's like, I'm not you. You don't know what feelings I'm going to have. If I have feelings about it, that's my business. If I don't have feelings about it, that's my business. But don't assume that I have the same relationship with my parents that you have. Nobody asks you for your advice. You know, they just got so much information about what you should do. And that's why I think a part of the healing is good is to be private and not allowing all these randoms on the social media all the time, especially if they're not being interacting with you in a positive way. You know they're just lurking for the narcissist. Like, why keep them around? For real. It's like, I don't need you around. You're not bringing anything to me. You're spying on me. You only, like I said earlier, you only jump into my DM when you found out something about about my mother or something, and now you want to come like you got something to say. Then you get somebody else in the DM defending the one who came in before. You know what I'm saying? And then, like, the most famous thing they always want to say, I can tell you're hurt. I can tell you're not over this. Is that true? You know, so not only are they trying to put us back into these toxic relationships, that it could cause a person to lose their mind if they continue to go into that, because now you know that the abuse is going to be maybe 10 times worse than it was before. So they're trying to get you in a place where you could possibly lose your mental health. And then also they want to tell you what to do, so they think you're stupid, that you can't figure out life for yourself. You know, and it's like, who's asking these people? Don't they have lives of their own? Like, why? Why? It's all just so stupid. I don't know. I don't know. Let me see. I was want to check the comments to see where we are. Okay, I think I've already read these. All right, so if you have any questions, so I'm looking for questions. If not, I'm going to go ahead and get ready to go. We've been on here for a while. I do want to thank everybody for hanging in here. It's been yeah, we've been in here for a long time. I didn't think I would be able to stay this long. I don't know what happened to the other live, y'all. I logged on and my internet service was not doing good at all. It ended up kicking me out. I went to go unplug the box or whatever, and I finally got it back to working. Happy to see you going live. Thank you so much, Camille Jackson. Thank you for being over here. Any topics that you all would like for the future? Maybe you can give me some suggestions about any topics that you think you might want to talk about. What's the super chat so we can send money? Oh my God, you know what? That is a that's a good question. I don't know. Let me see. I'm not, you know what? Thank you, Camille. I'm not going to lie. Let's see. Top chat, live chat. I don't even know how to do the super chat, but I can tell you if you would like to send money. I do have PayPal, and I do have Cash App. My Cash App is the $ TellSamyra. So $TellSamyra. And I would have to post the PayPal. I don't remember the PayPal, but the Cash App is also in any of my video, the comments, as well as the PayPal. I appreciate you for asking. So that's something that I have to research next time on, how to do the super chat, because I don't know how to do that, because I don't even see anything up here about a super chat. No, I don't. Okay. All right, so if we don't have any questions, I'm going to go ahead. Let's see, how do I do that? Cancel. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and log off, and then I'll try this again. It definitely won't be the last time that I come on. You have to be, oh, you have to be monetized for super chat. Okay, thank you, because I'm like, am I not seeing something on here? Okay, got you. Yeah, thank you all. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get on out of here. I'll see you all again. If you think of any comments, you can put them in your comments below, and let me know what you'd like to talk about next time, and hopefully I can figure out how to save this to my channel. I'll get it figured out. All right, thank you all. Take care. Bye-bye.